the headset on, set up to maybe do this live through a podcast. I thought maybe I'd get on and talk a little bit about maybe some systems, some lacquer work, stuff like that, some airless tip stuff, just because I've been getting a lot of that in my inbox. I haven't been able to get back and answer everybody back right away. And I'm really, really struggling with that because I'm so busy. Spit a verse, I kill him this, villainous, in this. Isn't that how it works? You want me to hit a mumble rap? Is that good? But like I said, guys, I've been trying to answer back to all this stuff online, but I've been super swamped. Ton of jobs on the go, not enough labor, and it's really hurting us a little bit right now. Much love and respect to all the people that are working with us that are being very, very patient. Appreciate that. We're doing our best with what we can. But like I said, guys, I thought I'd come on and chat a little bit about, some systems, some stuff that people have been asking me. Oh, and here we go. Here's actually a perfect person. Maybe we can share this. We got Dennis here. See if we can bring him on in. What's up, y'all? Thanks, everyone, for joining in.
What's up, bro?
Hey, buddy. How are you, man?
Oh, man, dude. I'm on vacation right now.
You're on the vacay.
I'm on vacation right now, bro. I'm in Arizona, Lake Havasu, Arizona right now.
Oh, man. You must be loving that, though, for sure.
Oh, bro, man. I took 7 days straight from Sunday to Sunday.
And people are probably panicking because you're not there right now, eh?
Nobody went into work today. Nobody showed up today. None of my guys went in. Yeah, it was a shit show. You know how it is.
I definitely do. I try not to take too much time because you know what they say, man. When the cat's away, the mice play.
You know what though, bro? I mean, I've been working, and just like you have, I've been working 70 hours a week for, probably like the last 7 months, 6 months. It's been crazy. I've been working 6 days a week, 65, 70 hours a week, getting after it. I mean, literally doing up to 2 to 3 kitchens in a week. And like you, I mean, we do a lot of different finishing styles, but I don't paint. I don't do any other kind of painting, as we talked before. I only do finishing, so it's either cabinets or custom built-ins, and that's it. We don't roll walls. I mean, the last person you want with a brush in their hand is me, bro. That could be a scary sight.
No doubt. So no walls and ceilings for you guys, eh?
No drywall, no mudding, none of that stuff, bro. We just spray finish. That's it.
Oh, that's all right, man. That's in my line of work. That's where the cake is at, in my opinion. That's funny because guys always give me a hard time. They're like, hey, man, do you even swing a brush? I'm like, I don't really post too much because, in my opinion, that's the easy stuff. I'm trying to show the hard stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, since I started, doing the social media and everything, things have definitely have taken a change from when I started. I mean, I'm still small. I still, I have only a couple 500, 600, 700 followers that follow me. But I know that there's guys like me who've made a lot of headway, and I have started to see the results of Instagram and some of these other social platforms. I have seen it, but on the flip side of it, I've seen it takes a lot of your time. Oh, yeah. It consumes a lot of your time, and people don't realize that. It consumes time away from your wife, from your kids, a lot, plus work. So, but let's talk some airless, man. I mean, you spray airless. I spray airless. I didn't make up the term, but some friends of mine have made up the term airless assassin.
There you go.
And recently, a client, not a client, but a friend, she was running into some huge issues. She was an HVLP girl. She was, hardcore HVLP girl, and she's having nothing but issues with these water-based coatings that we run, these thick, high viscosity, 70% solids, high viscosity coatings that we're running. And I said, listen, go to the Home Depot, go to Lowe's, go spend $300 and go get you a little $300 rig and put a fine finish tip on it. It's going to save your life. And she was kind of skeptical at first. look at this. There's a Matt there from Mr. Spares. He's a solid guy. He's a heavy hitter in the finishing industry. That guy's been killing it.
Nice.
Anyway,
What's up, Matt?
She was struggling, man. So she got that airless and she laid down the finish. And the first picture she sent me, I said, "Yeah, you got it. It's there," you know. Yeah. And she was like, "I can't believe how easy this is. I can't believe how smooth this is." And at the end of the day, she ran into some issues, of course, you know, the verticals and all that. Because people think it's easy what we do because we make it look easy. You know, spraying all these profiles, spraying up and down, insides and outsides of boxes and all that. I mean, it takes a hand to be able to do it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You don't think about it. I don't think about it. It's just the nature of how, you know, after as many reps as you get in, as many licks as you get in, it comes real easy.
Yeah, it can, definitely. And the challenges start to come depending on what the built-in or the substrate's like. But really, a lot of the on-site stuff, vertical spraying, it's a tough go, man. Sometimes a real tough go.
Well, because you're trying to make the verticals look as good as the flats.
100.
You're trying to make the verticals look as tight as the flats. A lot of the builders that I do work for, the jobs are all flush. So that means that the doors are inset. They're not overlay.
Yep.
So the doors are inside with the frame. So there's no hiding nothing. You're gonna see every inch of it. So you got to make the boxes look as tight as the doors, as your drawer fronts. They have to. And if not, then well, you got mad issues.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. Well, possibly see it. So, and there's a lot of different techniques of spraying, laying down to spraying vertically. You're putting it on a lot heavier and you might not even notice it. So there's a few different things for sure. And I found that airless can be a lot tricky for some guys who are coming out of the HVLP thing because it's a little bit of a different system. So I was curious to see like how those 306 tips work, because that's going to really save some butts in terms of it's going to save you some time on the learning curve, because my whole career I was learning on a 410 412 and we just learned no matter what the product was to figure it out. But now with Instagram you're learning new things, so I've dropped to 308 for some things, but some stuff like I told you in your commented on your thing, man, in my opinion airless is just hard. It's hard to do, man, like, and you know, those fine, like those smaller finish tips will probably help people, but HVLP is just too slow for me. I just could never do it. I use an air assist when I'm spray staining or shading, but that's about it.
And I'm the same thing. If I have to throw a shading or something like that, typically I have a 2-quart pot system that I'll mix up for doing any little shading. Most of the staining and stuff we do is pretty uniform. But every now and then, you know, when you're staining, you get a little high and low, and you got to make it look even.
That's exactly it. Yeah, we don't do a lot of straight spray staining. I shouldn't even say that that's what I'm doing, because we're toning in. We do a lot all application by hand, and if they want a certain color, then we tone it into where they want. But the reason I do it that way is because sometimes we get the color match just from the first application. There's no need to tone. We just clear it after that, right? So I kind of like it that way. It's a little more controlled, but that's really the only time. And sometimes I use a cup gun in shop, but it really depends on what it is.
And the same thing with me. I've gone recently to a PPS gun from Total Finishing Solution.
Nice.
That gun is sick. I mean, you can spray all these heavy coatings without having to thin the material. But I don't know if you've ever ran a PPS system before, but basically what it does is you have your regular HVLP cup gun.
Well, hold on, Dennis, hold on. So explain to the people that are watching, there's about 10 folks in here. What's PPS system?
Okay, so what the PPS system does is you have a traditional cup. You have a traditional cup gun, gravity fed or bottom fed. And what this does is it grabs air from the air hose, a small amount, and then it has a regulator on it that pushes that air pressure back into the pot. Gotcha. So it's pushing the material through the fluid nozzle along with the air pressure. So it gives you that much more feed. So you can set your air pressure on a PPS system at 5 PSI, 3 PSI, 10 PSI. It's very low. You don't need very much. And just that added little push on that material, it's almost like you're forcing the material through the nozzle, and then once it hits the air, then it's breaking it up. Kind of like an air assist setup where you have a pump that pumps it. This kind of puts air on it and pushes that material through your feed, and then the air breaks up the particles and allows you to spray the material.
Nice.
And it's crucial. It's super crucial in some of these higher viscosity coatings. It really does. The other thing is it allows you to run your PSI on your cup gun a lot lower. I typically, when I'm running these coatings, I'm running my PSI maybe around 20 PSI, right. and then about 5 PSI on the bag, and that flows the materials out really nicely. Some days you need a little bit more, some days you need a little bit less. It's a lot of it's determined on the weather and how your coating is and how fast it's drying or how slow it's drying. It's the same thing when you're spraying your surfaces and any other material. You have to fluctuate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the environment's going to make a big difference in that too. And I think that's one thing a lot of guys, they don't really think about too much when they see, say, myself or other guys online. Like, I come from one of the driest climates on the planet. So that's a big factor. A lot of people think like, oh man, like we just have it nice. It's not too humid. It's a little bit more dry. So it works a little bit better. But in those really high humidity places, like I could only imagine what guys go through. Like I can only imagine.
Yeah, we deal with it here. I mean, the last week before I left, every single morning was literally socked in with haze until almost 11 a.m. But then it takes another 2-3 hours for it to burn off.
Yeah.
So even if you try to spray in that first hour or two, I mean, you're going to get issues like clouding in your coating. You're going to get fogging. There's going to be all kinds of stuff that's going to happen to your coating. So you got to wait for that humidity to drop. Right. And unfortunately, my spray booth, we're working on it right now. My spray booth, it doesn't have a climate control inside of it. So it deals with the elements, how they come.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what we've been dealing with our whole career, is because we're on so much on site that we just feel it out. It's a little bit of a, what's going on. Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean,
well, that's what I mean.
I don't try and add too many things to my lacquers and products, because there's already so much like toxic shit in there that I'm like, man, do I really want to add like more like tartar or thinner? So sometimes we have to, but sometimes the conditions are a little bit good for that. So
what coatings, what solvent are you running over there?
It's mostly pre-cat, just from a couple different places. So a lot of the times what people see, and the reason I probably get so many messages when they see me painting walls is because they're like, what the hell? Well, because a majority of the time I'm doing some subcontract work. We're hired out as subcontractors. So I do a lot of spraying for those guys. And then my own stuff is everything. So when I'm doing subcontract, sometimes it comes down to budgets. Whatever they bring and is on site is what I'm using. Sometimes it's from one place, sometimes it's from Cloverdale, sometimes from Sherwin. It really depends. But it's mostly pre-cat. The solid base isn't the best anymore, especially for the on-site stuff, but you can get some pretty decent products, 2 components, specialty stuff, but they'll only sell it to you if you have a shop, because it's already a little bit tight in Calgary. They're still allowing on-site lacquer work, but they're always trying to get rid of it. They're always trying to go green, right? They've been saying that for the last 20 years, but so it depends, but it's mostly pre-cat stuff. And then if I'm like matching, say like my paneling or coffer ceilings to the lacquer, I'll use like a alkyd waterborne enamel or something like that.
Yeah. And those look good too.
They do. Some people have a problem with the alkyd enamels, like due to yellowing and stuff. I mean, I've never seen it, and like I've been using it for almost 10 years now. I haven't seen it much myself. But then it comes down to, like you were saying too, right? Like, how well are people taking care of these paint jobs when we're gone?
Oh yeah, we've talked about that.
It's crazy.
We've definitely talked about that. Yeah. Well, I mean, here, and I know you guys are running higher VOCs than we are. Well, you guys are running 550s in Canada, and probably even up to 600s. Here in California, we're down to 275. So the coatings, even the pre-cats here, they just don't hold up.
I've heard that a lot. I get a lot of guys from California that say like they've just changed. They have no body anymore. It's just not even.
They don't have no body. It's not really worth using it. So typically what we run pre-cat on here is built-ins, hall cabinets, closets, things that you don't have to worry about any water issues whatsoever.
Right.
And I've made probably about a 70-80% change over to water-based. we still spray a ton of solvent, you know, because like we talked before, I do contract work also for so many different shops.
Yep.
So many different people. They'll say, hey, you know, I got one company sends me drawer boxes just to seal and clear coat.
Yep.
They'll send me 250 drawer boxes. Well, we're gonna run pre-cat on those. We're gonna run a coat of vinyl sealer and 2 coats of pre-cat and done. You know, we can knock out 70, 80, 90 of them in a half a day with me and my guy.
Yeah. Well, that's what I like about the solvent stuff. It saves me a lot of time in drying times and that. I can't do the milky clear coats, the water-based stuff. It's super and it's just the dry times. It doesn't work for my system, at least here.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's why I'm running both, but I'm running a hybrid system. Yeah. So we're running pigmented vinyl sealer underneath the whites and the colors, and then we're running a clear vinyl sealer underneath. And actually, the clear water-based system that I am running, which is Renner, that stuff dries insanely fast.
Really?
It dries. Here's the difference. Here's the nice difference about it. Okay, is it has like a 3 or 4 hour stack time. So unlike solvent, even though it's dry to the touch instantly, it takes 6, 8, 10 hours before you can stack those doors together, maybe 24 hours before you can put those doors together. The water base, it's just a touch slower, but once they're dry, they're dry.
And
you can take those doors, bundle them up and ship them, and they're not going to stick. No shit. So wow. when it comes to the clear, I'm running almost 100% water-based clear because it dries so fast. Yeah, it dries so fast, and it shocked me, bro. It honestly shocked me. I thought we were going to have a lot of issues with it, but I ran conversion varnish for a lot of years, and conversion varnish takes a long time to dry. And this stuff is a third of the time of conversion varnish, and maybe only 15% longer than solvent. So on a day that we had to put some retarder in there, it dries the same speed as the water-based coating that we're running. So I'm like, you know what? Might as well run that 2K water-based, and then I don't have to worry about water damage or flaking or any of that stuff, and it'd be solid. The difference is the price, though. That gallon could cost you upwards of $100 a gallon. Yeah.
Is that Benny Moore selling that shit or what? Wow. Hey, yeah, I was gonna say what makes you decide, and I think that probably come a lot down to the price factor for sure.
It comes down to the price factor. So I mean, with the contractors that I do work for, I leave it up to them. I put it in their hands, you know, and then they tell me what they want to use. For the customers that I'm dealing with, I give them a price breakdown. I said, this is the price for pre-cat. Yeah. If you want to run 2K, this is the price for 2K. You let me know which way you want to go. And as of lately, a lot of people have been picking the 2K.
No doubt, hey.
Yeah, they're just willing to spend the extra money. They figure if you're gonna spend $3,000 to $5,000 on the kitchen refinish, what's an additional $500?
Well, it really comes down to, and that was another thing in my life that I was saying the other day. It really comes down to that consumer knowing. Like, cause it's like you can only tell them so much. Because another guy might tell him, it's like I said, it's like buying a car. Everyone's going to tell you something to make you buy their product, right? So I think it has the consumer has to do their homework too. Because even if you tell them this is the best product, they might not go with it. And what's going to get them is you being like, I told you so.
Yeah.
Right. So they need to do their homework, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's where this platform has helped us, because with all the content that I have, and then not only that, I just recently started I have a bunch of videos, but I just started pumping them into YouTube, pumping videos, instructional videos, help videos, and things like that, and pushing them towards that. Listen, here's the price breakpoint. Here's the price points. Do me a favor, check out my Instagram, check out my YouTube channel, and go through the information and see. And then you can make a kind of an informative information. You can here's Renner, here's the coating company's websites. You can look at the specs and the tolerances of what those materials are, and then you let me know. I mean, the contractors that I do work for, just like you, they call me up, Dennis, we got a house, it's ready to break ground, it's going to be ready to pull doors on the 25th. Go ahead and pull doors, and then I just go pull doors. We don't even discuss a number because it's all linear footage. They already know.
Yeah.
It's just go. I pull up, the contractor pulls up. What do you need? I need a check for $2,500. I need a check for $4,500. I need a check for whatever it is. Okay, there you go. Because they already know.
And are those builders are those builders already kind of spec'd for, say, water-based or solvent, or is it mostly water-based on the on-site stuff for them?
All those contractors prior to were all spec for pre-cat, and that's what we ran. And now I have one of the largest contractors that I do work for, which is Gruber, Darren Gruber, which is Gruber Home Improvement. He has just said, I don't want to use it anymore. We're going to only use 2K. So
is that more for his clients, you think, or
for his clients? Yeah, because we've had failures. We do, you do a house and you got, all the cabinetry. You got $12,000, $14,000, $16,000 worth of cabinetry that you finished, and then a year and a half, 2 years later, you got cracking around the sink, or you got the dishwasher panel is starting to get damaged from water damage.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to deal with it. He's like, I'd rather, whatever the materials, I'll pay the difference in the materials. If it's a little bit more labor, I'd rather pay the little extra price and let my customers know, put it on them, and not have to worry about it.
Hey, so, man, at the end of the day, it comes down to the end product. So what's going to get longevity is kind of what needs to be, right? So,
I mean, I wouldn't even think about it. I wouldn't even think about it, bro, if it gave us 5 years. If it gave me 5 years without a problem, I wouldn't even think about it. I would still push him to using the pre-cat all day long.
Do you have a warranty timeline for your work through your builders?
I give every single customer that I do work for, I give them a 1-year warranty.
Yeah.
Every single customer that I do a job for, I give them a 1-year warranty. No questions asked. If something cracks, fails, I mean, even sometimes it's their issue that they did, I'll go back and I'll fix it. Now, if they send me pictures and I see it's something that they did, they chipped the hell out of a door or something, on those, I'll tell them, hey, bring them into the shop.
Yeah.
Take the drawer out, bring it into the shop, we'll fix it, and then you can take it home.
Yeah.
Same thing with a door or something like that. I'll just tell them, hey, bring them into the shop, we'll fix them. Because just like you, we travel a lot. So if it's an hour away, I mean, you lost a half a day because
sure.
You got to go pick it up, bring it back, fix it, go take it, deliver it, install it. Then it gets super expensive.
Yeah.
So I just tell them, if it's something that you guys messed up within a year, if it gets messed up, just give me a call. We'll set up a time. You come bring it into the shop, and then within 3 to 5 days, you can come pick it up, and it's ready to go back.
Yeah. Well, you give some, you lose. Like, it's give and take. You know what I mean? So
yeah. It's give and take. You're giving them the service of guarantee you're finished for 1 year, and then they're giving up. Hey, they don't mind bringing it down if something happens.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
And I feel like that's fair. I feel like that's fair.
Well, it's more than fair, especially if they're damaging it. I mean, like, warranty, I guess, would be on your work. So if they're damaging it themselves, I mean, that's not really.
I know, and
I'm with you. I do it all the time too. Just you bring it here. Like, I won't charge you for the paint. We have some left over. Just we'll quickly blast it for you. Here you go.
Yeah, and you know what? That's what speaks tons for their recommendations and the referrals. So that's why I don't worry about stuff like that. We just try to take care of the customers and make sure they're happy, making sure they're getting what they need. Customer service, 110%.
100%.
Being professional. I mean, even though we get on here and we talk shit and this and that, and it's on the job site, it's not like that. My guys know how it is on the job site. They keep it real legit when we're working because you're in somebody's house. Yeah.
Yeah, because it can bite you in the ass a little bit too, man. Like, I had the one project I was working on, all of a sudden I see, oh man, the homeowner's following me now. So I'm doing this job for a builder, but I noticed the homeowner started kind of following me through my Instagram. That worried me a little bit because now it's like, oh, comes the magnifying glass sort of, right? So, and then sometimes the builder will be like, hey, the homeowner was like, you're not on that site. I'm like, yes, I'm there. They're seeing stuff from other places. So it's like a double-ended sword, this Instagram, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I mean, and it all comes down to scheduling. I mean, I'm pretty open and pretty honest with all my customers. I just let them know. Right now, I mean, just like you, I'm sure you're in the same boat. The rest of my year is pretty much booked out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not taking really on any new project, even though I have gaps. The reason is because I have general contractors and I have cabinet shops that I have to appease.
Yeah.
So if I overbook myself, I know that they have work coming. I'll put myself in a bad position with them, and they're the ones who really feed us every single day.
Yep.
So we're here at the end of October. We got November. You got Thanksgiving. You're going to be gone for a week. There's a couple. You do new construction that's a little bit different, but I know you do refinish also.
Yep.
But for me, it's both too. So when it comes down to the refinish time, a lot of people don't want you in their house that last week and a half, 2 weeks before. So it's like flip flopping the times and the hours and how many hours you got left. And then for us, my shop, I shut down my shop from around the 22nd or 23rd of December until the 8th or 9th of January. I shut down for about 3 weeks.
I should do that.
Dude, it's sick.
I should do that. I mean,
Dude,
sometimes we work right through the holiday, not through it. Like we'll work till that 23rd and then we'll take off till like the 29th. But man, I should do that.
You know why? And I'm going to tell you why it works. This is why it works. Because nobody wants to work. Your guys don't even want to work. They're burned out from the whole year. Yeah. Here's the other thing. You go on Christmas break or whatever it is, it's on a Wednesday, right? Christmas is on a Wednesday. Nobody's going to work on Thursday or Friday or Saturday.
No.
So then, so that week's gone. So then to come back to work, what? Monday and Tuesday, because whatever day Christmas falls on, New Year's falls on the same day.
Yeah. I agree. So it's like, what's the point in you're going to work the 28th, 29th, and then come back. And then, I feel you for sure, man, for sure.
So you know what? My dad actually started doing it years back.
Good for him.
And I abandoned it. And then probably in the last 10 years, I started adopting it again and just taking the time off. Because honestly, like I said, the guys are just not motivated to work.
Yeah.
My guys have been crushing it this year. We've been killing it this year. COVID, call it whatever you want to call it, flu, whatever, 19, whatever. Hey, let's have 10 more years of that because business has been like I've never seen before.
Dude, us too. And I can't keep up. And now I'm getting all the repaint calls now too. I don't know what happened. My phone's been blowing up, but like you, I'm trying to be careful, maybe pre-book myself down the road. I don't want to screw over the hand that feeds me the most right now, right? So it's a tough one, man.
And I hear people talking about booking themselves out for 6 or 8 months. I would never go that. I would never book myself out that far. To me, a month and a half, 2 months is long enough. After that, I just say I can't do the work.
But I mean, I talked to another guy about that, and that to me is a little bit not suspicious, but it's like, how can a customer be like, yeah, I'll wait 8 months?
Nobody's waiting 8 months.
So it's like, I'm booked this whole year. I'm January to January. I'm like, so you mean to tell me in January you book somebody for November? Maybe, but I mean, that's just me. I'm like, all right, cool.
I hear people talking this nonsense, and I don't know if it's nonsense or what.
It's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when we used to go to the bar back in the day, and they keep everyone standing outside the lineup to make it look like this bar's bumping. There'd be like 100 people in line. You go inside, nobody's in the goddamn place. You're like, okay, nice marketing ploy. I get it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you're a heavy hitting crew. You guys are booked all the time. I feel like we're a medium heavy hitting crew. Because I mean, there's crews out there that are making huge money. Yeah. I'm a small shop. I got 3 full-time, 1 part-time, and myself. So, and we only do finishing, right? But I couldn't see myself booking a job 4 months out. No way.
I don't know anyone that would wait. Like, unless it's my buddy, I'm like, yeah, if you can wait like 3-4 months, then that's different. But if it's a client that looked me up and called me, it's like, yeah, I'm booking into September. If it's like March, they're going to be like, I'll find somebody else. Okay.
Yeah, no, they're not waiting that long.
No,
they're not waiting that long. So, but these people who say it, I don't know if it's like you said, it's half true, half false or what. All the big hitters that I know, buddies of mine that I know, they're saying 2 months is a long time to be booked out. Yeah. 3 months is an extremely long time. The reason is because if you book every single day in between there, how do you manage those contracts that you have accounts with? How do you manage those? When they call you and say, "Hey, Dennis, I got 2 closets and I got 3 bathrooms. They're being installed next Friday.
Yeah.
And I need you to go 4 doors."
Well, those guys can't wait, but I know in the repaint game, sometimes, like one guy said here, some will wait, and I know some will wait. So like I was telling my other buddy on here that we were chatting, I found that I could get more work booked for the long run if it's people that I know that will wait, but then I just give them a deal. Because I find when I'm more busy, I know some people might be like, that's crazy. When you're busier, you should charge more. But when I'm more busy, I feel like I can give more deals, right? Because I'm well, hey, if you wait till this, month, I'll give you a little bit of a deal. Some people do it, but a lot don't.
No, yeah, I hear you, man. So, and then what that does too is that locks that customer in for you too.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what the workload's going to be 3 or 4 months down the road. You don't.
No.
Even though we feel like we're going to be busy all the time, you never know. And in our trade, at any time, something can get canceled, something can get held back. And it's always nice to have a couple of those brewing in the corner, smaller projects that you can just like, hey, we were going to go this way, but now we're going that way because this happened. And we got work, so you can, and then it's like gravy because now you just do that gravy job and they got it banged out and you didn't miss a beat, you know.
But you're also like, please don't let these fall all at the same time, because that's what happened to me right now. It's like I was reaching out, putting in estimates, trying to get other contracts, and it was like they all just boom at once, and I was like, awesome, of course this had to happen this way.
And I'm kind of fortunate because I have a bunch of buddies who do finishing also.
That's good.
And I've been able to actually have them help me a little bit. Like they'll go out and do prep for me. They'll go out and they'll get the job bagged for me, paper, tape, plastic. Maybe even if it's a refinish, maybe get it degreased and sanded, and then we can roll in there and do primer and paint and be done. I have another buddy of mine who's here on Instagram also. He's actually ran a couple prime for me. He'll go prep them, bag them, prime them, and then we'll go in and we'll wrap them up.
So when you say buddy, is it like a new buddy now? Because I've made so many new friends on Instagram. It's fucking awesome. Like you, for example, right? So, or is he a buddy like that,
No. He's somebody that I've met in the last year on Instagram.
Cool.
He's somebody I've met here on Instagram. Honestly, I'll be honest, I don't have a whole bunch of friends because all my old school friends that I grew up with, they all went different directions. There's only a couple class that I talk with, and the guys that I finished with back in the day, they've either burned me or burned a job or you name it. And then once they do that, then I'm done. I don't, I cut that tie quick,
Yeah, so that's too bad, man, because you never want to burn a bridge ever.
You get people out there who do it all the time.
That's crazy to me. I don't understand. Even if I was angry, I still wouldn't burn a bridge. Just, you never know, right? You never know.
Yeah, you don't know. No. Okay, so let's talk some airless tips.
Oh man, good, because I've been working on this theory for a while, and I was saying to this other guy, I had like a 2-hour podcast recorded on airless tips. Save it all. It's all on my computer. Open it up 2 days later to edit it. There's fucking only 7 minutes recorded. I was like, oh my God. I don't know what happened. I honestly don't know what happened, but I've been working on a bit of a theory about it because some guys keep saying to me like, hey man, I'm going to be using this 10, or this tip, I'm using a 210. And I'm like, you're using it. Well, what are you spraying? And it's like, oh, just little pieces and this and that. And I'm like, to me, I feel like that's still a heavy tip because now you've shrunk the surface area down. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
so
for sure.
I was curious to see if those 306s were fire, man, because
the 306 tip was basically designed for the water-based coatings that we've been spraying.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure it's going to have a lot of different purposes, but the issues that we were having is with dark colors and vertical hang for some people who are making the transformation from HVLP to airless. There's a lot of guys a lot of homeowners, a lot of people wanting to make the jump over to airless. They've been spraying HVLP, and then they, even on the 08 tip, they're dropping it down to the ground. It's crying all over the place. And the water
with an HVLP,
with airless.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, when they made the jump over.
I see. Yes.
Yeah. So not only on Instagram, but I'm in another couple big groups on Facebook. One of them is Kitchen Cabinet Experts. The other one's Cabinet Masterminds. One of the groups is a DIY group. It's to help people who are maybe working on their home projects or they're trying to make the jump over into professional finishing. And there's about maybe 15 or 20 moderators in the group. I'm one of the moderators, and we help answer questions and help these people out. So when I joined the group, I kind of got hammered real heavy because everybody was Why are you spraying with an airless? That's not for cabinets. You're supposed to be using HVLP, HVLP. And I heard a lot of that, right? So
hold on. Why do you think that they say it's supposed to be? Just because it's a finer finish?
Well, I think that's kind of what was told to a lot of people is that it's supposedly you have more transfer efficiency with an HVLP than you do with an airless. Okay, maybe so. All right. But my problem is that I run a production shop just like you do, and there's no way in hell I could spray kitchen cabinets or big built-in systems with a cup gun. There's no way.
Hell no. I tell people that all the time. Like, why, you're using an airless for all that? Why not HVLP? I'm like, well, when you got a 10-foot solid MDF man door and there's 50 of them in the house, I'm like, dude, like that, I would drive myself crazy trying to do. That's too slow for me, at least.
I just can't do it. And I originally first started spraying with an HVLP system. I started spraying kitchen cabinets with a 2-quart pop Bink system with a 1.7 tip. And I ran that for probably the first 5 to 7 years of my finishing, career. But again, we only ran solvent. We ran conversion varnish and we ran lacquer, which you can do it out of. You can do it out of. But this is how we would do it. I had 3 cups set up, lined up, mixed up with the material, and I knew they had gallon pots. They had 2-gallon pots. I liked working out of the 2-quart pot. And I would spray all these jobs. I would be going through, I running primer. Okay, stop.
Fill it up.
Cup, slam the cup on. Pull the cup. Slam. I mean, dude, it was tired. It was.
Oh
it was
my god! Quick little thing that kind of reminds me. I don't know if you use the paint line stuff, but I always see the guys that have the little Lazy Susan. I mean, I know it might be efficient, but for me, some of these guys, it's like they look at it, they turn the thing.
I know.
Turn the thing. I'm like, dude, like I would have sprayed like 15 of these already. Like, oh my god. So
and this is what we talked about, and this is what we've talked about. Is I spray the same way. I spray on a nail system, so I can spray. I have a huge shop. I can set up 50 doors at one time.
That's what I like to do. Yeah, I like to do it like
my spray booth is 20 feet by 40 feet. My spray booth. You could drive a semi truck into my spray booth.
Wow,
it's huge. So with all the racks set up in my spray booth, I can spray 45 doors.
Like laying down, right? Or are you talking about?
Down flat.
Yeah.
Laying down flat. Yeah. So it's just different, So I just can't. There's no way I'm going to sit there with a cup gun and try spraying these. Anyways.
So what? So is that what made you transition? It was kind of speed.
The production and the speed. Okay, and then I had a buddy of mine who was running just a regular. He was using just a regular pump. He just had a Binks pump that he ran. And one day we were on a job. We were doing what's out here is called AAA. It's automobile service. We were redoing their headquarters, and he pulled his pump out, dropped it into the 5, and he started mixing up. After we stained everything, he started shooting, and I was like, what the fuck, man? I'm like, this is badass. I'm like, this is badass, I'm like, this is what I need. And this is what I need. I mean, we were spraying. He goes, do you want to spray? And I was like, yeah, sure. So it just took me a minute or two to get used to it. But, I mean, I was able to spray. These panels were huge. These panels were 4 or 5 feet wide by 8 foot tall. I mean, there's no way I could have got an even pattern spraying a cup gun. There's no way.
Man. It would be way too hard.
So much retarder in there to keep it wet and all that with this thing. And he was spraying, I want to say he was spraying like a 12 tip, like a 412 tip. So, I mean, the fan was like this big. And I was like, oh, yeah, this
Done.
is shit. Done. Done. So, the next day I went down and I was at the paint store and I said, I need an airless so I can spray solvent. And the guy says, yeah, no problem here. This is right here. And he showed me the 390. And I was like, okay. I go, that's the best one? He goes, the best one for airless, what the guys use is 395 Ultra. I said, I'll take it. And that's the first airless rig I ever bought. It was like, I don't know, 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah. Still have it?
Still have it.
Yeah.
I still have that rig. And I in all those years, I've only had it rebuilt 3 times. In all
That's
those
pretty
years.
damn good, man.
And as much material we ran through that, and when I first got it, we ran both clear, solvent, stain, paint. We ran everything through it. I didn't have 2. I only had 1.
Wow. Did you ever have any problems with that?
No, I would clean it real good.
Yeah.
You know, I would clean it real good. But there would be times that you ran black and then you went to put white and it was like shit.
Yeah.
You know, a little spit or whatever.
Spit. Oh, it drives me bananas. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah. So, you know, we got used to it though. So what we would do is if we ran black or a dark color, then we were gonna run white. What I would do is I would take the primer bucket and I would cycle the white through the primer to make sure I had white in the line, and then cycle it out and then run the white, and then we didn't have no issues after that.
Right.
But now, since then, I have probably 5 or 6 airless rigs, 2 for clear, 2 for pigment, and then I have 1 that's exclusively only for water-based coating.
Gotcha. Yeah, we're kind of the same way. We have a few setups, definitely.
Yeah.
So you were finding a lot of guys were putting runs and sags and stuff when they were hitting the airless. Probably
they were hitting the airless. Yeah. So they were having problems with the vertical. So when I got into water-based about a year ago, spraying these heavier coatings, I kept asking the question. And Eric, I don't know if you know Eric Reeson, me and him become pretty good friends, and talking back and forth, I kept discussing it with him, asking him, can we get a finer tip made? And he goes, I don't think so. I don't know. He goes, I know that there's an 07 tip from Titan has an 07 tip. He goes, but honestly, I don't know. And then I met the guys from Tritech. I tried out their tips. I fell in love with their tips. And then we started the discussion with them and seeing if they could manufacture an 06 tip. So about 4 months ago, they gave Eric and myself both prototype 06 tips, and they said, run them, see if you can break them, see if they work. And we started running them, and we had a lot of success. Where that tip is crucial is in dark colors, in these water-based coatings, and also in the vertical hang for people who are having issues. Mm-hmm. That's where that tip shines. For me, it's kind of a specialty tip.
Do you think, though, I kind of thought about this too, because I was getting a lot of questions about this, and it made me think about it. Do you think, too, sometimes it could be technique? Some guys maybe, because I see a lot of guys, they never want to let go of the trigger, and I can understand that for some situations, but other situations, it's kind of like you need to fan off. You need to, you don't want to hit that corner one too many times, no matter what you're using. You know what I mean? So I found a lot of times, like I said, airless is hard. It takes a rhythm, a technique, as Matt was saying before, some muscle memory kind of, so you know where you are. But at the same time, that's why I went down to the 308. And what made me change was using a polyurethane product called Deft. And we were spraying a whole railing with it. And I was like, oh my God, you want to use this on this railing? He's like, we have to. They don't want the smell. I'm like, okay. So I blasted with a 412, or a 410, very accurately. Because I could tell after the first few passes, I was like, oh man, this is going to be such a bitch. Couple hangs, couple sags. And I sprayed that whole railing with the 410. Then it was time to use the Chem Aqua. He brings the Chem Aqua. Once again, super thin. I was like, oh my God. Start with the 410, same thing.
It's like water.
It's like water. Had to be extremely accurate. And then, like I said, just from, people online and seeing different things, I'm like, you know what? I'll try this 308. And it was money, man. It worked really well.
Well, and the thing is for a finisher like yourself or a finisher like myself, as soon as you get that 08 in your hand, you see the difference.
Yeah. Well, what made me realize was when I tried to go back and use it on the lacquer, the 308, I was like, no fucking way. I can't, no. But then this is what I was telling a couple guys. It was the surface area, right? Because one guy was like, oh man, you spray with a 410, I spray with a 310. The 410's a huge tip. I'm like, just the fan's bigger, man. There's the same amount of paint coming out.
Same paint.
Right? But only you're taking it this way. Like, I think I'm like, you're spreading it out like this, and then you drop down to a 3, and now you're doing this, and then you go to a 2, and now you're doing this. So I'm like, technically, you're like getting more paint coming out.
More. It's
right?
true.
So
it's true.
That's why I switched to the 408, because for that green panel wall, I was like, man, I don't want to try and spray this with a 308. It was just too slow, too much time. So Dazzling Dave sent me a 408, and I worked it on there, and it was mint, man. So when I seen that 306, I just kept thinking to myself, man, what could I use that for? What could I use that for? And then I was like, man, there's got to be something. So I'll let Dennis and them see what's up, and then,
you'll find an application for it. I mean, it's got a specialty application for sure. And this is what I've told a lot of guys is that it's not for everything. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't use it for spraying big finish panels and stuff. Yeah. I wouldn't use it. You could use it for it, but what I noticed is because you're putting it on a little bit thinner, it dries a lot faster. So you don't have that. You don't keep that wet edge like you do.
No. Okay. But that's what made it really hard for the lacquer work, because it dries off so fast that I had to like slow down even more and double overlap even more. So that's why I jumped to the 408. But really, I'll probably just stick to the 10s for a lot of the lacquer work on the paneling. But I found the same thing like you said, that dark green, it just blemished weird with the 10. When I sprayed it with the 08, it was just money. It was like way finer finish. You know?
Oh yeah. Well, and that's the thing is because it's going to atomize that paint, twice as much.
Yeah.
So for me spraying solvent, I spray with two different tips. I spray with the 412 and I spray with the 411. Oh, those are my two go-tos. I've started to fall in love. I'm going to send you one. I started falling in love with a single orifice from Tritech. I'm going to send you one. You're going to like it. I've been using that now since I started with them. And I use their 12 also, but for some reason, I've gone more to the 11 tip. It's a single orifice. It's not the double orifice. It's not their fine finish tip, as they call it. But for lacquer, it works really well.
No doubt.
And I like the way it makes out. For primer, I mean, I'll blow some people's heads off, but for primer, I run a 314.
Really? I'm a 412. It's almost the same, kind of, right? 412, 314. It's kind of the same.
It's a little heavier, but the reason is because I just don't thin my primer that much. The vinyl sealer primer that we use, it is pretty thick. So, but it's not thick enough to get the super heavy build like the water-based primers do.
Right.
And so I went to a 314 tip, and I've been running primer on the solvent with a 314 tip.
Just because it's really viscous, eh?
Yeah, it's a little bit more viscous here in California. I've gotten my hands on some 550, and I'm able to go down to a 12 with the 550 VOC. It's a little thicker. It builds a little faster. It works nice, but it was only for samples. We can't use it here in California.
Yeah, well, it is what it is, man. So you've been getting some hate for that transition or what? I get hate all the time from the HVLP and the water-based revolution. I'm always saying, I'm like, okay, I get it.
Well, water-based revolution is a real thing, okay? And eventually, it is probably going to change to that to some measure.
Probably.
Solvent is never going to go away, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there's too many furniture stores, there's too many millwork companies that have money, billions of dollars invested into it. So they're never. I don't see solvent ever going away. Okay, it's too fast for production.
Yeah, man.
It makes companies too much money, and there's just no way it's going to go away. But what they're doing here in California, they've cut the guts out of it.
Yeah.
So we have to find other avenues and other ways to do it. When I made the changeover and I started using airless, it was no big deal until I really started talking about it. And then when I started talking about it, like I said, in these groups originally, I kind of got hated on a lot because I was running airless, until the people started seeing the finishes that I was laying down with these airless systems.
Then they're shocked.
I got no problems with HVLP. HVLP has a place.
Yeah.
It has a place in the trade, just like a finish hammer has a place, just like a framing hammer has a place. They all have their place. 2.5-inch brush, a 3-inch brush, a 5-inch brush, they all have their place.
I agree.
But for production, for what we do, it just doesn't make sense to use that system.
Yeah, we're the same. It's just too slow for us, right? It's just too slow.
Well, and the thing is that the water-based coatings that we're running, the viscosity of these water-based coatings that we're running, it loves the airless. It loves not having air put into it. It loves just being pumped through that small orifice and broken up into little beads and laid down like glass. It loves it. Loves it.
No doubt.
So if I'm going to have a coating that I can spray with one machine, and let me think, it's not going to give me any bubbles. It's not going to give me it's going to lay down like glass. It's going to do, why would I use anything else?
Yeah. I agree, man. If it's getting you what you need, like, there's no point in sticking to this old age law of like HVLP is for fine finishing. It's all about production, man.
Well, I mean, if you're doing production, now I get it. If you're a homeowner and you're doing your kitchen and you're doing one kit, or if you're a paint crew and you do one kitchen every 3 months, why would you go spend the money on the airless?
Yeah.
That's what you do. You do one kitchen every 2 or 3 months, then rock on with the HVLP. I could get the same finish with an HVLP as I do with my airless, no problem, because I know what to look for in the finish at the end of the day.
100%. And you know the products and you know the systems and the techniques well enough that not a lot would know.
Yeah, I'm trying to find something that's easy for that first-time user, that when they pull the trigger like this back and forth, it lays down and it looks like glass every single time.
Yeah.
And anybody that I've helped or anybody that I've walked through this whole system that has tried an airless, I don't think they'll ever go back to HVLP because of it. Yeah, it's just a game changer. HVLP has its place. It has its niche in the industry. It's never going to go anywhere. It's not going anywhere. No. But with these newer coatings that we're running, Renner, Envirolac, Malaysia, blah, 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 you name it all the way down, Circa, you name all these coatings, and I don't know if you've actually physically seen them, but you can take a paint stick, you drop it in there, and it ain't moving left or right. That's how thick these coatings are. Wow. They're no joke.
Because the only ones I've ever used, I don't even know if they're the same in the sense scientifically, but was Cam Aqua. That was the only water-based lacquer I used, and that was so freaking thin. And when it dried up, it was rock hard. But I said to the guy, because it was a subcontract job at the time too, I was just like, dude, this is the thinnest shit I've ever worked with. And
Cam Aqua is probably about the same. Yeah, Cam Aqua is probably about the same consistency. If you took a gallon of pre-cat lacquer and add half a gallon of acetone.
For sure. I 100% agree. And I was like, dude, even the primer doesn't cover. What the hell? That's stupid. Yeah. You know what I mean? But another guy on here was saying the air-assisted airless. Do you ever use a AAA?
I haven't used an air-assisted airless. I've sprayed with air-assisted airless. Yes, I have. I do not use one in my shop. I know that they can be bad to the bone. The reason why I didn't really push the air-assisted airless is because same thing. You have to be a professional finisher really to run them. You have to know how to set your air pressure. You have to know how to set your pump pressure, because basically what you're doing is you're taking the airless and you're adding a compressor to it. Yep. So not only do you have a piston that pushes the material through, then you have an air compressor that helps to break up that material. It achieves by far one of the best finishes out there. A guy named Russell on here, he's on Instagram. He's a hardcore air assisted guy, and he's got it dialed in. He's got it hammered. If any of you guys are running air assist and you guys want to run any of these high viscosity coatings, hit Russell up on Instagram. He is the man when it comes to that. But the problem is the cost too. If you bought a Kremlin, or if you bought one of these Total Finishing Solutions rigs, entry level, you're talking $4,000, $5,000. By the time you get it set up with the compressor, by the time you get it set up with the right tips, by the time you get it set up all ready to spray, you could be into $6,000, $7,000 easy. And everybody that I've talked to has said the same thing. That's about where they end up at the end of the day. So I can get pretty much the same result with, well, in
my opinion, you can not pretty much, in my opinion, you can get the same.
Well, I'm trying to be nice. Okay?
I know. But the only reason I'm saying that is because I think what a lot of guys get confused too is that the AAA, for me, this is what I tell everyone who says they want to buy one. I say the same thing as you. I'm like, for one, it's super expensive. And for two, if you're not the guy laying the primer down on a scratch substrate, if you're doing repaints or you're painting on top of pre-prime casing, it's pointless. The primer is already there. The base coat, the substrate, it's already all there. So it's kind of like, well, you're not going to get it even more of a fine of a finish because you turn a compressor on. So that was my thing about it. I'm like, listen, if you're in a shop, you're doing it all from scratch, or you're doing a lot of scratch work, okay, I can understand. But if you're spraying pre-primed casings and stuff, you might as well just get a fucking airless.
Yeah, you might as well spray an airless. I mean, you're gonna achieve beautiful finishes with an airless all day long. On site, it's super easy. So. You drop the lines in the bucket and you go. We work out of our 5s all the time. We work out of, single gallons all the time. It's just so much easier. I mean, it's simple especially if you're running pre-cad. You run pre-cad, by the time you cycle the material through your 50-foot line, you got about that much space. That's about how much thinner you add to it. Cycle it all back through the gun and you're ready to shoot.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people have said to me too, though, that's why they like the HVLP, because it saves more product, right?
Well, it doesn't save more product, and this is what people got to understand. Okay, that's misleading. Okay, and they got to really understand this.
Yes, Dennis, hit him with that shit. Let's see.
To run a HVLP, typically to get the finish as nice as you do with any of these other systems, you have to thin the material quite a bit more. Okay, so let's just take this for instance. If you have a gallon of paint, 1 gallon of paint, right, and you take an airless, like your rig or my rig, we're going to thin it maybe 5 to 8%.
Yep.
Okay. And it's going to spray money all day long. An HVLP, it's not going to spray the same. So you're probably going to have to thin it more like 25%. Okay. So you're adding that much more fluid to that material. And that's why it seems like it's going farther. So if you take a gallon of paint, if you take a gallon of paint and you add half a quart, okay, and it sprays money, then you take a gallon of paint and you add 1.5 quarts, well, the paint's not going any farther. You just thinned the paint out is all you did.
And I honestly feel like you're going to use more because you're going to have to coat it more because the product's thinner and it has less body. So especially with dark colors, like you're not going to get away with 2 coats when it's thinned almost 30%, in my opinion, at least nicely.
You're not. You try spraying a black or try spraying a dark gray, and you know how hard those colors are to make them look good. Because you'll see your swirl marks and your sanding, you'll see all that stuff in them. Whites, you won't see it. Clear finishes, you won't, but in the darks, you will. So if you got to thin that coating by 25 or 30%, are you really getting far? No, you're not getting any farther in that gallon. It's the same gallon of paint.
Yeah.
But all you've done is you've thinned that coating down. That's all you've done.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell people is like, okay, now if you want to compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges, let's thin it exactly the same. I'll thin mine 10, you thin yours exactly 10, and then let's shoot them, and then let's see which one comes out the better result. To me, at the end of the day, whatever produces the best result, that's all I care about.
Yeah, I would agree with you, yeah.
If somebody said, Dennis, you can put the paint in your mouth, spit it on the job, and it came out looking gorgeous, I might try that.
For sure. Well, here, Optimus Painting is saying that, with the AAA, you're going to get 60% less consumption and paint less overspray than airless. And it's twice quicker than an HVLP. So my thing about most of that, though, is the overspray. These guys I used to work for, they had a Gremlin, and we would use it in these big houses. We'd set up our shops in the garages because all the door fronts, everything would come on site. It was all on site finish in these customs. So we'd set up in the garages. By the time we were done spraying, 1 load of drawers with this Gremlin, you couldn't even see in the room.
Oh yeah.
So the overspray thing, I don't really get that because I don't know. But at the same time, anytime I've used it air assist, like when I used that 408, Dennis, on that wall, it was a haze.
Yeah.
It was a haze. So I don't get that. I don't understand that.
Well, and here's the thing: if people got to understand is when you're spraying the airless, you're just pumping the material through that tip. So the material typically doesn't fly up into the air. The material falls down to the ground.
Okay, so he means less overspray in that way, possibly. Maybe that's what
maybe he's talking about it in that way. Yeah. Because, at the end of the week when we sweep up, I can sweep up probably 3 shovel loads of overspray from the stuff that hits the ground.
Well, for sure.
But it's not in the air. But if you're out there spraying, if you've ever sprayed on site with an HVLP or any other of those systems, the room is clouded out. You can't even see in the room. So I don't know. I hear people keep saying that you get more transfer efficiency with those rigs, but I still haven't seen the data on that. I haven't seen 100%. And I'm going to talk with somebody. I've talked with one guy from one of these water-based coating companies who's supposedly there's an engineer who has all the information on it. I'm supposed to talk with him when I come back from vacation, and we're going to go over it. Maybe he can explain it to me a little bit better. But, you know, I think there was a lot of that HVLP business came back from back in the days. They were trying to get people, you know, to conserve more material, lower pressures, higher volume. But with the coatings, I mean, it seems like you're spraying almost the same, you know, you're spraying almost the same PSI as a non-HVLP rig anyways. So, again, at the end of the day, the results of what the finish looks like is the most important part to me.
Yeah. There's,
you know,
600 different ways to skin a cat. So
600
if you're making
ways.
paper and you're laying it down nice, all the power to you, man.
Yeah. So, and that's where we come to. So there's a lot of different tips to use, definitely. I'm going to send you a couple other tips because I see you do a lot of handrails. I see you do a lot of handrails. So I want to hook you up with a couple of these 208 tips. They got some 208s and they got some 108s that are perfect for handrails. So you got a 108.
A 108?
Yeah, your fan's this big. It's like this big.
Wow.
It's like a cool fan. Beautiful for doing stuff like that. Perfect for doing stuff like that. You know, guys, like you were talking about, you use a 310 or a 410 or a 4. Here's the thing. When I'm spraying a job, I use a 412 most of the time or a 411. If I'm spraying a job like this, right, and I got my frame that's this wide and my fan's going this way. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll turn my gun this way at a 45 a little bit, and if I'm running primer, and I'll run my fan narrower.
Yep.
So all my product is being laid onto the substrate that I'm painting. I'm sure you do the same thing.
I do sometimes, or I'll, like, say if this is it, I'll use my fan in certain ways. Like I won't always just overlap with my fan. I'll kind of turn it and use like the tip of it, you know, if I'm trying to like cut corners and stuff, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
Exactly.
And I was explaining that to a good buddy of mine, Painterman 2000, Matt from the UK, because he was messaging me, needed some help. And I was saying a good tip that I always thought of when I was first learning was I always tried to go by fan strokes. So it's like, hey man, you know, if you got a frame that's this big, you're probably only going to get 2 fan strokes out of that baby unless you start turning your gun a certain way, right?
Oh, for sure.
So that's what a lot of guys I think don't realize. And that comes from experience though. Like, you'd know, you're not just going to learn that overnight. You got to be pumping a lot, spraying a lot, you know, to make it work for you in different ways.
I tell people that all the time. I tell them it's just reps, you know, reps and reps and reps and reps and reps and reps.
100%.
Somebody sent me a message the other day on a job that I sprayed, and he said, and it was one upper, and it was inside and out, and he sent me a message that says 112 on and offs.
The guy counted?
He counted them, dude. He counted them. He goes 112 on and off the trigger. No, but he said it as a compliment. So he's like,
okay.
Holy shit, the gun control that you have, you know, the gun control that you have is insane. He's like, I counted your strokes and I counted your on and offs. He says 112 in that run that you ran. He goes, do you go on and off the gun that much all the time? I said, all the time.
Me too. 100%.
All the time. I see guys and they're trying to spray the whole thing and moving the gun around like this and not pulling off the trigger because they're worried about getting a spit. It's like, listen, start off the project and finish off the project.
100%, man. That's what I was telling this guy, because I was saying, like, hey, man, you can maybe try not to let go because people are always worried about the spits. I'm like, but I'd rather sand a few spits out than like 15 runs, because like there's no way. Like, I was just doing a bunch of birch drawers in my shop clear. There's no way you could spray inside those boxes without going on and off. And if you can, send me the video, because that'd be interesting to see. But
I would love to see that. You have to. You have to. So like, if the guys watch my videos and if they see me spray, I always start on the plastic on the inside. I always like to spray my inside frames first. I'll spray all the inside detail first. So I'll go through on the upper run. Like, say it's a 6-foot run. I'll go through and I'll spray all my insides first, like this, all the way through the inside. And then I'll come back and then I'll hit my frames, however I'm going to spray them. But if you always look when I start to spray, if the corner is like here, I'll start my pattern just on the inside, and then I'll feather it and then go around.
Yep.
And then, so I'll go this way and then I'll go that way.
2 L's, right?
2 L's. And so when I get a run, 99.9% of my runs are on my backhand when I come this way.
Hell yeah.
I don't, and I think it's because maybe I get a little slow on this way, or I don't get off the trigger quick enough. But it seems like whenever I'm spraying, the run is never on my front side coming looking at it. It's always on the back.
Well, because it's really unnatural, and that's what I was telling Matt. Because I was showing him on a frame, I was like, the reason I don't do the full, like even on a door frame, I don't start on the bottom left and go all the way around because I hate trying to keep control on my backhand. You know, because I'm like, that's so unnatural. Like, and I told him, I was like, why don't you just, if you want, bring it all the way around to the right, fan off of the frame. When you want to start again, either start on the floor or start on the wall and come down. Bang, there you go.
That's it, money.
And money. I mean, if you want to lessen the amount of times you pull on and off, you got to figure that out over time. But I'm an on and off guy, man. I'm trigger happy.
Yeah, I'm trigger happy. I'm like on the trigger. I mean, and it's just second nature. I've gotten a lot better to spraying left-handed. I had a real long stretch from my right hand where I was going numb on me from all the spraying I was doing.
Really?
Yikes. Yeah, you go carpal tunnel, whatever the hell they call that. So I went almost 2 months, 3 months, and I was only spraying left-handed. And it took me a little while to get used to it and where to carry the line.
Yeah.
You know, here on my right hand, I'm so used to it. I keep the line behind my back, and I keep my left hand on it. So it just took me a couple times to get used to how to carry the line so that my line is out of my way. But I've gotten real good at spraying. I've gotten real good at spraying both left-handed and right-handed, which helps a lot too.
Oh, definitely. It gives you a break, man. I was blessed to be partially ambidextrous, and I figured that out when I tried to go golfing because I had right-handed clubs holding them with the left-handed hand, like hand formation, cranking balls still. And my buddy's like, what the fuck are you doing? And then I realized, oh, I'm actually a lefty. In golf, I play left in hockey, but I right everything in right. So then I was like dicking around with my brother and my guy one day. I was like, I'm going to slay this with my left hand, watch. So I'll still drop that sometimes, left hand all day, baby, because sometimes you need it. Sometimes in the closet, you know, you got to go with the left hand.
Oh yeah. You're at the stretch of the end of the ladder, and you're reached out over there. The right hand, you can't cross it over this way, so you're going left hand. I have one of my videos, and I'm up on a like a 20-foot, A-frame ladder, and I'm sitting on the top of the ladder. I'm spraying this big hood, and I had to switch hands because literally I almost fell off the ladder.
Oh man, I hate those A-frames. They're so shaky sometimes, man.
The video doesn't show it, but my guys were like, "Oh shit!"
Catch him.
Dude, I'm 265 pounds. Dude, he catches nothing, dude.
Break your fall at least.
I just reached over a little too far, and then I went to the left hand like this, and I went across it, and then it was like, I felt like, oh shit, I had to grab the ladder, like one of those. I was like, oh shit.
There's the run. Who's sanding that run out?
Yeah. No, but dude, I mean, it all comes down to that. Some of the other things that I've found with social media, and I'm sure you've seen, is a lot of guys reach out to us. We help a lot of guys. We give them information. And then they turn around and use the information that we give them like it's theirs. And which is cool. I mean, I think some people say it's flattery because this and that, which that's fine. But then why don't they throw a hashtag?
Why would they?
Why don't they throw a hashtag out there? Like, I got this great tip from, D-Rod, or I got this great tip from Topline, and save my tail. And
I mean, most people I think do, but a lot don't.
Right.
They don't.
I've seen that. I give props to anybody who's ever helped me in this industry.
Me too.
I give props to, bro. I mean, like we talked about that guy Eric. I cannot say enough about that guy because honestly, he's helped me a lot.
That's good, man.
I know there's a lot of guys that don't really like him because of what he does.
Well, what do you mean? Like, what does he do?
He does a lot of testing of different products. That's his thing. His thing is testing products, finding the best product on the market, no matter what it is. The best way to spray it, the best system to spray it with, he's trying to find the next best thing, and that's what he's about. And some companies get pissed because he's like, well, today this is the best coating, and then maybe 3 months later he finds another coating that stomps that coating into the ground, and then he's like, well, this one, and guys get upset about that.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me too, because you know why it's a tough one for me? Not specifically for Eric, but specifically because on this platform, it's like instantly. So people think like, well, this guy said it, it must be the thing. Well, that guy said it must be the thing. Oh, now it's this or now it's that. And I found that a lot with the reviews. It drives me fucking nuts, Dennis, when someone's like, I got this today, I'm giving my review. I'm like, you've had it for a day.
Yeah.
Like, how can you give a proper review? Like, the Stinger brush is the biggest one. I still haven't put my review out on it because I want to see through a year what the fuck this brush does. I don't want to trash it and then be like, actually, you know, this worked really good for some exterior stuff, all the while I was trashing it. So I'm just like, no, I'll put it to the test. So I could see why guys could see that, because as you know, man, being on site and actually being in there and getting this data and results from time, customers, it's a little bit different. So I could see why Eric would get the hate, but people also aren't thinking. Sometimes their cheese is sliding off their cracker and they're just not fucking thinking about it. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing is, with somebody like him, when he comes out with the coating and he talks about it, he's tested that coating for 5, 6, 7 months, 8 months prior to him putting it out there. So it's not something that he just got in his hands yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for a fact he's probably got 4 or 5 different coatings sitting on his shelf right now that he hasn't even had time to run and test.
Wow.
You know, so but it comes back to, listen, that guy Eric is basically putting the information out, and then now you do with it what you want.
100%.
He's doing the fucking homework for you, man.
Yeah. And he's doing the hard part of it all.
The R&D is the breakdown of these coatings. What do they do? How do they work? What's the best way to spray this? What's this and that? And I started doing a lot of that also. I started breaking down these coatings. I started running these coatings, running these materials, and then giving my information and my feedback on how to make them better, or how to spray them properly, or what I've seen with what I do every day. Yeah. And guys are like, well, you were talking about this yesterday. Why are you talking about this other coat? Not that one was the best. Listen, we're giving you our perspective. You guys go get whatever coating that you guys see that works for you and run it. And if you're not sure, go buy a freaking gallon and test it.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's funny for me why guys would hate from the HVLP to the airless, because it's like, yo, man, if this person's found a system that's making them money, it's cutting down, or it's, becoming more efficient. Why are you hating on that? Develop a system for yourself. That's what we're all here for. But you know how it is, Dennis. Instagram's a big dick swinging competition, man. Huge.
Well, I think the other thing too is if you're a strong enough influencer on this forum, you can definitely hurt somebody's pocket too. You can have a company who was killing it, crushing it, and then all of a sudden their sales drop off because another system is doing something else. And when people's dollars get affected, people get upset. But what people got to understand is this. For me, and I'm going to tell you this for me, okay, only for me personally, I feel like I have a successful business. I don't need any of these other things. I don't need any of these other distractions. I have my work already. I'm here to try to help, and that's the only reason I've come out here is to try to help. 5 years ago, if you would approach me and said, Dennis, would you give any of this information away? I would tell you, hell no. I wouldn't have given nothing away, because I grew up in an industry when I started out, nobody told you nothing. Zero. Guys would tear labels off of the coatings and handwrite stuff on there. Guys would tear labels off of the colorants that they used, so you didn't know what they were using. This is no joke, bro.
These guys are scared.
Joke. They're scared because they don't want you to learn, because once you learn, then you might have a chance to be better than them or as good as them. So it's always been a big secret, and it bugged me, because when I started in this trade, when I started in this industry, there was nothing. There was no internet. There was no Instagram. There was no YouTube. Yeah. There was none of that shit. How did you learn? By trial and error, or going to the
100%.
library and getting a freaking book and learning and reading the old school way. That's how you did it.
Yeah, man. And that's why I get frustrated sometimes, because it's like exactly like you said. Like, I've paid a lot of money in mistakes to learn these tricks and tips and techniques and systems,
thousands of dollars,
and you're giving it away. And sometimes it feels like it's either not good enough, it's the response wasn't fast enough, the answer wasn't what they wanted to hear, but I'm giving it all away for free. You know, Dennis, I honestly wish in the beginning I would have started charging people off the hop. And I only feel that way now only because now I'm just like, what the heck, man? As soon as I got over 10,000 followers, it started being like, oh, no, he's good. No, we don't need to ask him. He's good. He's good. We don't need this. We don't need that. And it's like, okay, well, you asked me for like freaking almost a full year. And now as soon as you think, well, he must have bought his followers, he must have, I'm like, yo, I'm not selling out. If I was selling out, I would have been charging you guys for this information. Now that they're getting it all for free, they see it, my IGTV, everything. Now it's like, they don't even have to get back to me. And I'm like, it's cool, man. I just want to be your friend. Like, really? Because like, I don't need this to survive. Like you, I have tons of work. I don't need Instagram to keep working. So sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I doing this?
No, I run into this. I run, and I've only been doing social media for about a year, you know? And like I said, I mean, I'm small cakes compared to the other guys that have 20, 30, 40,000 followers.
Well, hold on, Dennis. I want to talk about that quickly, because really, I was thinking about this the other day. The number is irrelevant if you don't have the content. You can flourish with content. You'll never flourish with 50, 60,000 followers if you don't have the content. So that's what people need to understand. It doesn't matter how many followers I have, how many followers this guy has. It matters what they're putting out. And I've just put out lots of material. That's how I gained my following. But still, it's like, no. It's a fake. It's a fraud. It's this, until they need something. So it's like, yo, it's not the number. If you're ever worried or concerned, look at the people's content, because that's what you'll see. You'll be like, how does this guy have like 100,000 followers? And you look through his stuff and you're like, what the fuck? This doesn't add up, right? So I don't ever treat people I don't ever treat my friends that way, because I don't care.
When you see some of the guys that have 30, 50 or 100,000, it's like, I'm not going to say the brand, but it's brand this, brand that, label this, label that, label this, and it's all big label stuff, and then hashtag to that. So if they go and they search whatever it is, you know, anything that's hashtag that, it pops up, and then that's how they start to get their big following.
Yeah. It's pure marketing techniques, and that's what I've been telling people since I started. Because a lot of people, you paid for your followers. I'm like, no, I'll show you how to do it. There's marketing techniques. If you want to be that person on Instagram, do it. I did want to be, because I found that the number mattered when it came to helping people. Because I was like, wow, this is going really well. How do I help more people? Well, I got to reach more people. That's what people get. Like, you know, they're like, oh, fuck, look, that guy must be a sellout. He's got 100,000 followers. No, it comes down to two things. Either you want to use the platform for personal use, or you want to use it for what it was built for, to market, to brand. So the thing that bugs me about the people that's the 100,000 followers and it's just labels, it's like, I want to see the label put to work. If you get like an iQuip tool, don't just be like, my iQuip tool. Let's fucking see it. How does it work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I look at. That's what I look for. So when I go to pages and I'm like, yeah. Because some guys have fire like yourself. They don't even have 1,000 followers. So that's why I tell people, well, think about this. This guy's over here laying down fire. He's still getting 50 comments on a post, and he's got less than 1,000 people. Like, think about it, right? People don't. They just don't.
Oh, I mean, it does blow me away, because sometimes I'll put up a video and it just hits hard. And, you know, I'll get 500 views on a video, on a 1-minute video. And I mean, I only have 700 followers or 500 followers, you know, it's like, whoa, you know,
because it comes down to the content, man. It's all about the content. People don't think that. They just see the number and then they start to think, oh, this must be legit. Well, not always, man.
Well, and this is what I say to the people who are going and they're getting all this information. We're giving you guys the free information. We're giving you guys the fucking keys to the Ferrari to go drive away, you know, but at the same time, show some homage to guys like Matt, like yourself, guys like Eric, and all these other dudes that have taken their time, because we all have businesses, we all run businesses, and then we're taking our personal time and helping you guys out. Just hey, don't be afraid to throw a hashtag at these guys every now and then and say, hey, thanks for the information, or I got this tip from so and so, and not selling it as their own. That's what I'm talking about, because and I'll know, and whoever else gave them that information will know tomorrow that where they got that juicy beef from,
And we can see there's no lying on there's the context, the content speaks for itself. So even if you stole it, more than likely somebody's going to be able to tell that it ain't your thing, that you either got it from somewhere. At least I think I can. I mean, it's, Instagram, it's funny because it's almost like you get like a deeper study into humans, because you're like, oh yeah, you're like, yeah, okay.
So Marco, he put up somebody to pretend someone. That's true, bro. I mean, that's true. That's true, Marco. I mean, because we know the truth. We know the truth.
I've always felt that way with my music. When I would write music, a lot of people were like, man, you should record that, or you should copyright it or send it to yourself. And I was always like, you know what? If someone wants to steal my music, go ahead. I could, duplicate it tomorrow. Not saying I can be writing number one hits all the time, but I'm just saying it's like, I'm not scared of what I'm going to lose out of myself, because I know what I can always produce. So whatever. I see it all the time, Dennis. And I just started ignoring it, because I'm like, okay, awesome. Yeah. Now it's like, now you're using this hashtag, or now you're tagging me in that, or now you're doing this. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Honestly, I just started unfollowing some of these people. And then they would start to get back. I'd get backlash because like, why did you unfollow me? It's because I'm trying to follow the people that really want the help. I'm sorry. That's what it is. And if people think, well, then why do you have 15,000 followers? It's like, well, because there's a lot of people in the world. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck do you mean?
No, it's true. But you know what, bro? Like I said, the big fight with HVLP and airless and all that stuff, listen, it's just my preference. It's what I like to use. It's what I like to roll with. If you want to run an HVLP, run an HVLP. Like I said, it's going to be a battle that's going to be there forever, because people have their ways that they like using things and the way they like spraying things, and they feel like that's the best way. I'm going to have my best way, my favorite way. You're going to have your favorite way. And to me, as long as you're getting the results at the end of the day, then I guess that's really all that matters.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think a lot of guys bring it back to like, well, it comes down to that quality too. And I've said this in a couple of my podcasts before, that I think quality really does come down to not just the tradesman, but the consumer. Because this is what I tell people. It's like, if you go do a job and you did your best, and it might not be as good as the other guy, but your client thinks that way and you get paid, fucking hallelujah. Am I going to pick it apart? Am I going to pick it apart? Like, why? Like, okay, maybe I could be like, yeah, you fucked up here, but you did your job, man. Your customer paid you. Maybe they're going to leave you a bad review on certain things, but you still got paid. So at the end of the day, it's a tough one, right? To each their own.
Well, to me, that's what it comes down to. I mean, I'm OCD a little bit when it comes to my jobs and how I do stuff.
Are you a Virgo?
I think all of us are. I think all of us are a little OCD when it comes to our jobs. I mean, when my lead guy sprays, I can see the difference in how he sprays and how I spray. We spray completely different. Is it bad that way he sprays? No. It's different styles. And this is somebody that literally I put my hand on his hand and, show him how I do, but he's still going to do it his way.
Yep.
He's getting killer results also.
Yep.
So as long as at the end of the day, the results come out the same, and as long as the job's crushed, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I agree. And how you put it online comes down to you too, because like I said, you can do this for personal, you can do this for business, or you can just do it for fun, whatever it might be. But You need thick skin in this on Instagram, man.
You need to have some thick skin. You definitely do. If you're going to be in social media and you're going to put yourself out there, you better have some thick skin because people are going to hate. There's people who are going to love. There's people, on all sides of it, And I just want to do what I do.
Yeah.
And do my work. And if I can, like I said, if I can help somebody, I'll help them.
Yeah, man.
If I can help you. If I can help this guy who's been struggling and getting his ass handed to him for a week on a job and he don't know what the hell is going on, and I can give him 2 little quick bits of something and he crushes it the next day, and then he calls me back, dude, it knocked it out of the park, really worked out great, and that makes me feel good, and then I know I did something. Those are the guys. Those are the guys that really why I'm here. Those are the guys. Those people who are in those positions.
Me too, man. Because like I said, as soon as I went over 10,000, I really had to start to reevaluate that number because there was a lot of people that they're just the flyby guys, they want the answer. They want it now. And then you never hear from them again, which is fine. I answer everybody back, but sometimes you get a few of them that are like, hey man, I tried that and it wasn't quite like, and it's like, well, dude, did you think I was just going to tell you were going to go and do it and you were going to get this fire too? It took freaking years to do this. I'm giving you the little bit of hints that might help you get there. You know what I mean? I can't give it all to you. How could you? Even if I had someone teach me, like you said, everyone is going to figure it out on their own way, sort of, So,
no, you can't give it all away because the thing is that there's stuff that we do that, maybe that they can't do, or maybe they wouldn't even be able to do. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some tools that I have in my pocket that I might never give away.
Yeah.
The same as you. There's certain tools that I have in my pocket that I might never give away. I don't know. I'm going to give as much information as I can away that I feel comfortable giving away. But at the end of the day, I have a business to run. And, there's a lot of competitors out there. And I'm not saying that if I give it away, it's going to make a difference. But in my own business, I have certain ways of doing things. And I'm not going to give that part of my business away.
No.
Same as you.
Well, I haven't given it all away. And this is where I'm at the crossroads now. Because in the beginning, my guys were like, dude, don't post that shit. It's mostly my crew, don't post that stuff, man. Like, why are you going to start giving the secrets away? Then I got my marketing team that's behind me. That's kind of like, no, give a lot of it away. Because if you ever want to branch off and do a class or something, then that's how it works. So that's why some people be like, well, top line, you're in between. I'm like, well, no. I've spent 2 years helping people. Now I feel like I want to be not paid off, for lack of a better word, but thin the herd. Because I found now that if I said, okay, now you have to pay, now I'm really going to see who cares about me. And then behind the scenes, I can give deals. I'm not saying like, oh, I'm going to grind everybody, but that's how I was like, well, like you said, this is a business. I'm taking time out of me making money, giving you the info, and you're going and making money. What is that doing for me? Yeah, I'm a good person, but at the same time, it's getting too much now that I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. It's too much, man.
Well, and that's what I mean. And that's how, at the end of the day, that's how I want to monetize this. I want to monetize this by being able to have people look at my posts, have people look at my information, and then let them make a decision on me doing work for them. And a lot of people, that's how I've been able to monetize this in that way, because they've been able to see my work. They see what I do. They see that I'm helping people. They see that I'm giving information away. And then they're like, oh, you know what? We're going to go with you. And they just make that decision to go with me because of all the information that I have out there for them.
So
that's how I'm kind of monetizing it in that way.
So Instagram's helped your business in the sense of now it's created
Instagram's
reassurance.
helped my business in that because I've used it listen, before when I went on an estimate, I went out on a job, I used to carry like an iPad with me. Yeah. And as soon as I would sit down, I'd turn it on and then it would start flipping through pictures of different jobs that I did. Well, now I don't do that anymore.
No.
We start talking. They're like, oh, we like to see what kind of work you do. And then I can push them towards my Instagram, or I can push them towards my YouTube videos, or I can push them towards my Facebook stuff. And then from there, they can see everything that I do because it's so transparent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then from there, along with my quote and then the referral that they got, they're able to make a decision.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they feel a little more comfortable knowing that, hey, I can kind of check in at any time, even while he's working. And, you know, some people like that. They like knowing like, oh, well, I can go and see what's happening right instantly, you know? So that's a cool
I
feature.
have a lady who's following me right now. I'm doing her kitchen, and she's loving it because she's seeing the whole process of everything that we're doing on her kitchen. And a lot of people, since I've been on Instagram, they're seeing me working on their projects. Contractors, they see me that I'm working on their projects, and I'm showing information about the job that we're doing and everything that we're putting on there. They like it. So that's kind of how I've monetized it in that way, is doing it by putting my information out there and then doing that. I have the opportunity to do some classes right now. We're talking about one maybe in January. I might be doing one in January. We're working on it right now. So, and I could probably, you know, set up some classes and have some done in the next month or two if I wanted to, but I'm kind of slow rolling that a little bit and still figuring out where I'm going to go, because I know, just like yourself, if you had a class to give information away, you know, you could have 20, 25 people there, no problem. Especially as big a following as you have, you know, and then maybe set it up to do 2 or 3 classes a year. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're going to get paid for those classes.
Yeah, I'd like to do something, but just like you, for one, I'm super freaking busy, and for two, I don't want to rush it. Like my podcast, I put in the works on that for almost over a year, and there were so many other people that were coming out with podcasts, and like I said, once again, you start looking at who it is, and you're like, what? And sometimes it irks me that I'm like, and I just say, be patient, man. It doesn't matter. There's enough space for everybody out there, but sometimes I'm just like, what the hell? So do that, man. Like, you know, take your time, because it'll be worth it to the people that really care, right? Because it depends what you want. Like, do you want to just sell this to everybody on the planet? Because most of the time when guys have those business formulas, it's not always the best class. You know, it's not, it's just something quick. Oh, here you go, just to get out there to be the first. So I don't think you'll have any problem selling your shit, man. I think people will get into that, especially with the water-based revolution. People are going to know, shit, man, maybe one day I'm going to have to fly down there and take a personal class, because that's what I was getting a lot of. Hey, man, like, you should fly down here and consult and show me what's up. And I'm like, really? Okay. But then COVID happened, so I was like, But there's so many opportunities, man. And that's another thing. That's why I don't ever really hate on too many people online, whether or not you're just trying to be a branding queen or a tool jockey or whatever it might be. Cool, you know, because with 5,000 followers, super fans, you can make a pretty good passive income on social media. So I see a lot of people doing different things to try and do that. But like I said, it's that content. If you're not putting out genuine fire, it's like anything else, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just looks like a commercial.
It looks like a commercial. I mean, and that's like the stuff that you do. All your videos, you're showing how you're spraying. You're showing how you're caulking or dapping things. You're showing, you know, you're giving away a lot of information. I mean, guys can study just in how you spray stuff, and that's going to give them a huge advantage on the first time they ever spray.
Yeah. Well, that's how I got into mentoring, because I had a lot of people that would message me online that thought, you can help me cut my learning curve. And of course, I'm kind of like you. I learned from old school guys. There was never any of this. And the same thing, I was like, really? Because you know, spraying's not that easy. So I'm like, I don't think so. And they're like, yeah, man, like whatever you can tell me, like it'll still help. So I started mentoring a few guys online, and I realized like, oh, okay, yeah, it'll help. But, you know, it depends, because I struggle with that, Dennis. Like some of those videos I put up, I'm sitting there on the share button for like 5 minutes. I'm like, should I share this? Okay, fine. And then it's like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but I just want people to have a reference, right?
Oh, for sure, bro. I mean, the thing is all the information that you're giving away, the information that I'm giving away, we're hoping that it reaches some of these guys that are struggling, so that they can get to the next level also.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you've already made it, bro. You've already done it. You've already gotten there, you know? I mean, I feel like I've already made it in my business also. So the only thing that we can do is give some of this stuff away so that it can help some of these people who are struggling.
100%.
You know, make their life a little bit easier.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to make $5,000 to $10,000 mistakes like I had to. I wouldn't even wish that on people, you know? And I know that sounds crazy, but when you're in the high-end custom home game, when you're in 10, 15,000 square foot homes, which I'll say for the record is probably small compared to the States, but in Canada, that's pretty large where I am. You don't want to fuck that shit up. The craftsmanship level here is like on top. So it's like, I don't want to screw up a $500,000 wood package in a house. So, you know, that happened to us a few times. I'm glad I was learning from guys that it happened to them more than me. So I got to learn those lessons, but you know how it is, man. I don't want that for people.
No, and that's what I tell these guys that are getting into this industry. It's like, listen, do your practice, take your time, test the coatings, test whatever you're finishing so that you can see where the mistakes are going to be in your practice before you go. And I see guys, they just pull the job and they just start freaking spraying cabinets. And then, dude, Dennis, look at this. It's cracking everywhere. Contamination. It's fisheye everywhere. I'm like, well, did you do a test sample first? Well, no, because I seen the way you did it. And it is, I'm like, Dude. I mean, every single job that I refinish, if it's a refinish, okay? If it's a refinish, not new, but every single job that I do that's a refinish, I test the sample first.
Yeah. Do you clean most of the time with like a TSP or something?
We use naphtha, and I'm not sure if you know what naphtha is. We use naphtha. Naphtha is basically a fast-drying mineral spirit. It dries extremely fast. And we use that to clean most of the surfaces. On some jobs, there's a product called Krug Cutter, which is it's a degreaser also. I started using it a little bit. I really don't care for it that much because, for one, it really gets the finish sticky and gummy, and it takes like 6, 8, 10 hours for it to dry completely before you can sand it. Secondly, is it's water. So it takes too long to dry.
Right.
Naphtha, we use naphtha, and I'll do a 70-30 mix with naphtha where I put 70% naphtha and 30% acetone, and that's what we use to degrease. So the naphtha will kind of give you a little bit of work time, and then the acetone at the residual dries it off pretty much instantly. So if you went through and did a degrease on a job with this product, within half an hour, you could be sanding on the cabinets.
Yeah. Nice.
And it comes down to time is money. You know, it's all production.
100%.
I had to go get my Bluetooth. For some reason, the volume kind of went down a little bit on that.
No, that's cool, man. Yeah, that works. I actually did want to ask you a question. I had thought while we were talking about the information. Do you think that that Instagram and these platforms, do you think it's also hurting our trade? It's like now it's like, because I get this a ton where it's like, hey man, I'm gonna buy a sprayer, like what do you think I should buy? And then I start asking all the questions. Well, what are you doing? Do you have any spray experience? What products are you using? What are you spraying? And then it's like, oh no, I'm a teacher, you know, I'm gonna paint some stuff in my house. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second now. What? Say what? And then I have to run them through the whole thing. So that's what scares me, that I'm like, now are we giving the reins to people who maybe shouldn't completely have it?
Well, they're gonna try it, and this is what I tell people. I said, if somebody wants to paint their own cabinets at home because they want to save some money, just be prepared to pay 3 times or 10 times what you invested already to have somebody fix it. And that's what I tell all of them, because more than likely you're not going to get it right, especially if you've never done it before, and you're going to end up paying me to come out and fix it.
Yeah.
So I just tell them, you know, practice first on some garage cabinets or something, you know. Practice on some sheets of plywood or something before you start thinking just because you have an air sprayer in your hand that you're going to be able to go through and lay down this gorgeous finish.
Well, they don't just have the sprayer; they have all the information online to do it as well.
They have your spray techniques too, brother.
That's what I mean.
They watched every single video you ever made, brother.
That's what's scary to me. That I'm like, hey man,
I know
88-year-old Betty over there is spraying her own kitchen today because she's seen one of my videos.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you a real quick story, and then I got to get out of here. I'm going to go take my daughter to get some lunch.
All right, buddy.
But recently, a lady reached out to me that she started to spray her own cabinets, and she was following us on the Facebook groups and all that, and she was going to do it. Well, she got into it, and she's 8 months pregnant. And then 8.5 months into it, she realizes there's no way she's going to be able to do this job. She's already pulled the doors off. She's already primed the doors. She's already done everything that needs to be done. But she has some big issues happening. She has some not panic. She has some dye migration coming through the job and all kinds of issues. Well, she's almost now 9 months pregnant.
Oh my God.
So then she reaches out to me and she says, I can't do this. There's no way I can do this. Can you do the job for me? And I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So now I'm doing the job for her, and I'm not going to trash on her because she tried her best.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I actually like to give people like that deals. I'm not going to lie.
No. Yeah.
I'm not saying that for you, but I'm just like, I would feel bad. I'd be like, man, sweetheart, I know that you're like 8 months pregnant and you have nothing to do, but like, good try, but damn.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing. And then the guy at the paint store told her to use house paint, told her this, that, so at the end of the day, everything that she did, we got to take it off.
Yeah.
Because it's not the finishing system that I would run on the cabinets that I would feel good with. Now, I charged her my regular price, but what I did for her is I upgraded it to run a water-based 2K system through the whole job. So she's getting about a $500 to $700 upgrade on the job because of what she did, because she tried. You know what I'm saying?
You're a good man.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I could have run the job in pre-CAD and be done in 2 days with it.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're not doing that. We're going to run a 2K system, and I told her I was going to run a 2K system through the whole job. She'll never have to worry about those cabinets ever again. But this is what we're talking about. They see it and they think it's easy. But there are exceptions out there.
Oh yeah, my buddy did it. He was like, I'm going to go buy a paint sprayer. I'm like, Dan, are you sure? He's like, no, man, I've worked with my hands before. My brother's car, blah, 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 blah. Set him up with Titan, set him up with a sprayer. He had to go through a couple tips, like, because he was like, oh, I'm using this. It's like, holy crap. And I was like, dude, you need like a 208, 308. You're a beginner. Like, not that it's a beginner tip. I'm just like, he called me 2 days later. He's like, man, I'm going to start painting. I was like, fuck you, Dan. Don't you go start painting. Yeah. But he was laying it down. I was like, damn, dude, good for you. And he cleaned his machine. I'm like, there you go, man. Don't buy the $400 one from Home Depot. You can. But I'm like, if you buy a good one and you clean it, this will last you freaking years.
A lifetime.
And he killed it. And so you're right.
No, that's what I'm saying. And I have a buddy of mine. He's actually a Ventura County sheriff. And everything I've ever seen that guy's done, finish-wise, money.
Wow.
Money. But why? Because he's going to go through the process. Yeah. If it takes him having to strip it off 2 or 3 times to make it right, he's going to make it perfect.
Yeah, man.
They're not going to be like, oh, that's good enough.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, man. Best advice, folks, follow the steps. If you think because you want to skip out 1 or 2 and it's no.
Follow the steps. Go through the processes. If you do get tips or information from any of us, follow the information that we give you. We're not lying to you. I have a lot of guys that hit me up for information, and they've already got the information from somebody else, and it's like they want to second the information, or I'll give them the information, and they didn't get the information they wanted, so then they go to somebody else to give them the bullshit information.
That drives me bananas. That drives me nuts, man. I got one guy right now. I'm not going to drop his name, but every time he messages me, I'm like, why are you actually messaging me? Are you messaging me to make sure you're doing right, or are you messaging me to make sure I'm doing it right, or you want to prove me wrong? And it's like every time we'll talk about it, and then he never messages me back. I'm like, dude, so you just messaged me to dick measure. Like, I wonder what he's doing. It's like, I'm like, dude, like you can straight up say to me, why? Why do you do that? I'm a nice guy. I can communicate. I'm not going to get mad, but just don't pussyfoot around. Just say what you want to say as opposed to doing that, because it's just, you're wasting my time, man. Like, it drives me nuts.
Steady Line Payne says, I'm a rebel. I'm not listening to Danny.
Yeah, don't, man, because a lot of these, and here's another thing, guys. I am not, this is what made me mad the one time that Mickey, the painter, was like, oh, Top Line, you think you're the shit. You think, no. I let my content speak for itself. And if You
Yeah.
don't think so? Then stop messaging me. Unfollow me. You know?
Yeah. No, I hear you.
So
No, and that's what I tell these guys, and that's exactly what I tell these guys. It's like, listen, I'm here to help out. If I can help out, if I can give you my information, I'm going to give you information to make life easier for you, so that you guys can be better finishers. Or if you're running into issues that you've never run into before, I'm going to do my best to help you to get out of those problems.
yeah, man.
But other than, I mean, dude,
Like I would message a guy like you when I'm having problems. I don't
Yeah.
need to measure my dick with you. I'm like, Dennis is killing it. He's got his thing. Tucker's killing it. He's got his thing. This guy's killing it. He's got his thing. But as soon as I'm like, oh, that guy does something that I don't know too much about, then I'll be like, okay, what's up, bro? Yeah, awesome. So all the other guys,
I'm the same way. Dude.
I
I'm
just
the same way.
support
There's
them.
about- yeah.
You're doing
Yeah, I
good,
support
man.
'em.
You're doing well.
Good
Don't
job.
worry about it. If you want to do better, maybe I can help you. But if you're making money, shit, what else you want? I love you too, Steady Line.
That's it. Yeah. No, and that's what I mean. There's about 4 or 5 guys in the water-based industry that we have a little bit of a network that we work back and
Yeah.
forth with each other. We help each other out.
Yeah, I see
They've
that.
asked me questions. I've asked them questions. They've bounced stuff out. We've bounced stuff off of each other to make life easier for each other. And it does help when you have legitimate guys that are not going to give you no bullshit, that are going to give you the information and be honest with you. And that's what I tell these guys that ask me questions. I'm going to give you the 100% truth, bro. I'm not going to give you part of it. I'm going to give you 100% of it.
I don't like that, man. I mean, why am I going to leave out one tip so you can fail slightly so I look better? I'm not even in the same city as you, man. I'm going to give
Yeah,
you
bro.
I'm going to give you the
You're-
pearls.
you're in
What do you
Canada.
mean?
You're in Canada.
Yeah.
Well, here's the funny thing is that I'm in SoCal, and there's just not a lot of guys that I've met in SoCal. Everybody that I've talked to is Michigan, New York, New Jersey, tons of New Jersey dudes, Texas, Arizona. There's a handful of guys here in California that I've been on social media with. Most of it's all East Coast guys or Midwest guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what the fuck? I don't got nothing to hide from you. I give it all to you guys. You're not in my market. You're not going to affect me.
And you're not going to affect them, but I think people
No.
get confused. They see it online and it's like, oh my God, they're doing better than me on Instagram. It's like, well, Instagram doesn't dictate your life or your business. Like it's
No.
just a different area in your business, I guess, you know? I don't know. It's
I
a tough
use it
one.
as I use it as advertising. I use it as being able to post my information, show my information, show what I do, and then people can judge from how I set up a job, how we prep. I like to show a lot of prep work when we're doing prep work. I think the homeowner customers love that. They can go through that prep work video and see how I contained an island, see how, and when we're spraying one island by itself, how we set up a perimeter with plastic walls up to the ceiling
Yeah.
and completely contained it, air ventilation in and out, showing them that kind of stuff. They
The
love
kill
that
booth.
because-
I call it the kill booth.
yeah, exactly. and those kind of things is what makes life easy for them, because then they makes their decision easy.
Yeah.
I've gone to job sites where guys were finishing. They just fucking threw some hand masking paper on the floor around the edge of the cabinets, and they start spraying. They got brown wood floors. They're painting white cabinets. I'm like, what the? Oh yeah, well it's just dust. It's just dust. It just sweeps up and vacuums up after. I'm like, are you serious?
Wow. That's
And
one of
here
my
I'm
biggest
running-
fears.
Here I'm running ram board on the floors.
Yeah.
On hardwood floors, we run ram board. On all surfaces, on all countertop surfaces, I run plastic first, and then we either run ram board. If it's marble, I run ram board. If it's granite or Caesar stone, we'll run rosin paper on top of it. I don't like to run resin rosin on top of countertops. We typically run the brown rosin because the red rosin bleeds.
Uh-huh.
So,
Yep.
and I've had it bleed and I've had it stain countertops before, and it cost me a lot of money to get it fixed. So
Won't come
now
out?
it's like it won't come out. That's why it'll come out. It has to get polished out.
Yeah, yeah.
But it cost me money. It cost me $500 to $700 to have the countertop polished out after because of it.
Damn.
So now we run plastic first, and then we run our protective coating, and then we run our paper on top of that.
See, something so small like that piece of information right there,
Small.
guys. That's what I'm talking about. That's the
That's
stuff that
money right
takes the years. That's the stuff that takes the failures to be like,
The
oh,
failures.
damn, you know? So don't go and do
Failures.
that. No rosin paper on the granites, especially
No
the
red,
red stuff.
no red, No red stuff on the counter.
No red stuff.
You know, I'll throw out one other thing that's really helped us a lot too is appliance moving. I don't know if any of you guys that are doing refinishing and you guys have appliances that you have to move, refrigerators, stoves. Okay. I put a disclaimer in my paperwork. I do not move those appliances.
We're the same.
I do not move them.
We don't
and
touch
if
anything.
if I do move them, the client signs off that there's not going to be I won't take any responsibility for any damage caused.
No.
Because one time I moved a refrigerator, and all we did is roll the refrigerator 4 feet out and 4 feet back. But the refrigerator was so loaded down that it dented their hardwood floors. Cost me money to have those replaced. So I won't move those appliances. So I let them know, if you want me to paint on the inside of the refrigerator, if you want me to paint on the inside of the microwave, you got to have those appliances moved and out before we go do it.
Yeah, we're the same.
If not, then you got to sign a release, because let me tell you guys, that will cost you thousands of dollars.
I try never to touch anything that ain't mine. Sorry, folks. You want me to come in? I'll poly. If you move the stuff in the middle of the room, we'll poly it. We'll make sure our paint doesn't get on it. But I will not pull your picture off the wall. That could be your grandmother's heirloom photo. I do not want to touch it.
And that's how we are the same. I never used to be that way. We used to do it all the time. But then you get burned 2 or 3 times from the wrong client, and then it's like, you know what? I'm not going to take that responsibility anymore.
No, because people think that, oh, it's good customer service. Yeah, until you drop a vase, and then they don't care that you're being good on customer service. They want you to pay for it.
Oh, I did. I did a job for a customer. This is like 15 years ago, and we taped off all the cabinets. She didn't want to empty her cabinets out, so we taped off all the cabinets with the stuff in there. One piece of tape stuck to a wine glass, and when we were pulling it out, the wine glass fell and it broke. And I told the customer, I just went up and told her straight away, hey, I had one of the wine glasses in there broke. And she's like, oh, I said, just let me know whatever it is, I'll replace the wine glass. She's like, no, that's a set of 8. You have to replace the set of 8. And I was like, okay, whatever. So she sends me a receipt. Now, I don't know how much she paid for those wine glasses. She could have got them at a secondhand store for $1.99.
For sure.
She sends me a receipt for like $395 for some wine glasses. I'm like, what are you going to say?
Pay it. That's what I would have just been like, fine, lady.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, whatever, Yeah. So these are things that you guys, all you guys that are listening today, all you guys that are on today, these are all things that you can take, little tidbits that we've already dealt with, we've already run into. So just make sure you wash your hands of all this stuff. So when you go in, a lot of guys want to just do a handshake contract. There is no handshake contract, because no matter what, when it comes to a court of law, especially in the United States, if you don't have a written contract, you will lose all your money. The contractor will. If you don't have a written contract, you will lose your money. So if they fight you on any aspect of it and you don't have it in writing, you will lose that money back to the customer. They can charge you back for the whole job, no matter, even if the job's completed.
The whole thing?
So I'm just telling you, the whole thing.
What?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So just be careful, guys. When you guys are doing your contracts, just it doesn't have to be super difficult. Just make it simple to read, easy, and then just have in there what your do's and don'ts are, and that's it. Pretty simple.
So you make the homeowner client sign it, right?
Sign off on it. Yeah. Also, the other thing I do is I have the customer sign off on the samples, whatever samples they give me. I was just
about to say, I get my colors signed off all the time. Sorry, this is what you chose.
Because this is what you chose. And the reason being is because I have customers that will call me and say, okay, the color I want is, just for instance, let's just say Dove White, so-and-so. Okay, fine. Bring me a color sample. Or I need a physical sample to get color matched. I said, if not, then what happens is they can give you they could have had a swatch, and they could have had that swatch for 6 months, or whoever knows how long, while they were deciding to paint their cabinets, and that swatch changed color. And then when you go to get the paint mixed from the fan from the paint store, it's a different color. So it's happened to me a lot. So I don't do that anymore. Now it's basically, I need a physical color sample, or if they pick a color in my Fandex, they sign the Fandex that's the color that they're choosing.
Yeah, I just make them go and get it. I'm like, You're not picking out
I
of
make
my
them go.
deck.
I typically make them go and get it
Yeah.
also,
Bring me the chip.
unless they're in my shop, and then from in the shop, then they can pick from my fan decks. But if I'm at their house, we're saying, listen, go down to Sherwin-Williams, pick whatever color you want on the wall, Sherwin-Williams, give me the sample, and I'll have a color match.
Yeah. Yeah, we're the same. We
And
do
that's
exactly the same. I'd rather them be like,
Save
here it
your
is,
guys' tail.
you know?
Save your tail, because if they call you in a color, here's the thing, guys, and a lot of painters don't even know this. Okay, if you read your fan decks, the fan deck has an expiration date on it, and a lot of guys don't even know this shit.
Yep.
Okay, most fan decks have depending on the coatings, but the solvent, if it's a solvent fan deck, they only have a 6-month window, and after 6 months, the fan deck is no longer valid. So if you called in a color that they seen on the fan deck that was a year old, it could be different than the actual formula that's being produced.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and that's why I'm telling you guys, so you guys know this, because a lot of guys don't know this. They'll be carrying a Fandex around in their truck for 6 months or for 6 years, who knows? And they leave it at the customer's house. Oh, go ahead and pick a color. They pick that color in that Fandex, but the new Fandex and the color that's actual made could be different from what you showed them.
Yeah.
So just cover your ass on that. Hopefully that little bit of information helps somebody someday a lot of money, because I've had that issue where somebody called in the color. Actually, what happened to me was the guy called in the color that he had gotten from an interior designer. The name of the color was a Sherwin-Williams color. It's called a new gray. Okay. This interior designer had exclusives for wallpaper. Okay. And they had the color a new gray from Sherwin-Williams, but it was a wallpaper color. And that's the color he picked. Well, I just said, okay, a new gray from Sherwin-Williams. I go, what's the deck number? So he gave me the deck number. I said, no problem. I called, ordered the paint. The color that came from Sherwin-Williams was about 10, maybe 12% lighter than the screen that he had for wallpaper.
And they weren't the same.
They weren't the same. And I ended up having to repaint all the doors for that job because of that.
Fuck.
So that's why I'm telling you guys, just these little tips, these little tricks, these little things are going to save your guys' lives in the future.
100%.
They're going to save you guys thousands and thousands of dollars in time. So just take those little bits of information that we're giving you guys and use them, because they will save you money.
Yeah, I agree. All right, man. Well, maybe I should let you go. You got to take your daughter.
Yeah. We're going to go get some lunch right now, man. Like I said, I'm on vacation. We're at Lake Havasu.
Good for you.
I'm here till Sunday. So, hey, peace out, all you guys. You guys have a good one. And Danny, me and you will talk again soon.
Absolutely, man. Like I said,
it seems like we got a lot to talk about.
We do, man, definitely. And like I got this on record, so I mean, like if you don't mind, I'll edit it a tad, and everyone that's in here will throw this back up. Real Paint Talks at PSC. It'll be on Spotify, Apple, all that, and you can listen to everything that Dennis said, all the great info, and the chat that we had today. So I appreciate it, man.
Awesome,
Thanks for doing this, man. It was awesome. You're the first one that got to do the live with the setup. I'm all set up in shop now, so yeah, it's
nice,
sweet.
Bro.
I've been trying to pump these out, but I'm swamped, man. I'm just so swamped.
I know.
So,
all right, brother.
Okay, man. Much
we'll
love.
Soon. All right, bro.
Later.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.
Later, man. See you guys.
Later.
Bye.
All right, y'all. So there you go. So like I said, now I got them all set up in here. I'll get this edited. I'll put this through, and you'll be able to hear it on the Real Paint Talks PSC. We had Dennis Rodriguez there from Midway, and the Airless Assassin himself, talking a lot and doing a lot of stuff with the water-based revolution. So that's really cool. And like I said, guys, check out those 306 tips. Well, I guess you can't try them out yet because they're still working that all out. So I'm sure that stuff will be out there soon for you guys to try. And thanks for everyone that stayed and tuned in. I really do appreciate that. And like I said, I'll edit this up and throw it online. Hope you guys are all having a great day. MB Quality Painting, Optimus, thank you. Steve Zavala, Francisco, I'm going to get some of these wrong. Pilvudo, Mondo from Chicago, Tina the Painter, Builds by Andy, what's up, Andy? Steady Line, Constantine, hey, homie. We got lots of people. Fine Finish Cabinet Painting. Nice. So, yeah, as me and Dennis were saying, super swamped, got lots of stuff on the go. Good night. But we thought we'd get on and talk about some stuff because he's been getting a little bit of a hard time, switching over to some airless stuff from the HVLP. A lot of guys are giving a little bit of hate. And I think some guys just aren't understanding, the efficiency in the system. Tim, what's up, brother? Hey, that ED655 is fire. You're welcome, MD Quality Painting. MB Quality Painting. No problem. So here's the thing that I wanted to kind of chat about with that too, because I'm seeing a lot of people are getting on the ED655. They're jumping into the diaphragm. A lot of guys were, good night, Steady Line. A lot of guys were asking me about that machine because, well, actually they were more asking me about my other diaphragm machines. That's the Lemmer 1095s, but because Lemmer's kind of a Canadian company, they weren't able to get that machine. So I was putting a lot of people on the ED655. Titan, you're welcome. And those machines are fire, guys. They're good for the thinner products, but diaphragm pumps. So quick little thing on that. A lot of guys think, is that still an airless? Well, it's still an airless, but there's piston pump, diaphragm pump. The piston pump is the one that builds pressure through the piston. While you're spraying, then it builds up the pressure. As it starts to lose pressure, well, not lose, as you start to release the paint, it builds up more pressure. The diaphragm pump is kind of like the cake decorating pump. It's always running. It's always creating the pressure. Always, right? So the difference for spray-wise, scientifically, I don't know. I couldn't tell you exactly. But I do know that for thinner products, especially for the lacquer coatings that I'm using, the diaphragm pumps work a lot better, in my opinion. I've tried to run, some lacquer through my Lemmer 3200. It's a little bit of a different game. It's really coming out there, so you either have to pressure down or tip down. So those diaphragm pumps are bomb. But I don't even know how many I've probably directed to Titan, but Titan has now sent me a machine to try out, the Elite 3000, which is their new version of the diaphragm pump. Constant power. I like it. I've never shot lacquer, and it's really game changer, bro. And I'm hoping so. And like me and Dennis were saying, I don't need the fucking credit for that. But at the same time, I think a lot of guys are seeing these machines that I'm using and they're starting to realize, wow, this might be a little bit better. It is, especially for some of those water-based products, because it's better for thinner products. Steve Zavala. Yes, I do have a YouTube channel. Working really hard on getting some new content for that channel because I don't want to just bring all the same shit over from my Instagram, but I do have a YouTube channel, man. Just look up Topline PSC and you'll find me there. You can like and subscribe, please. And then you can also find me Spotify, Anchor, Apple, all the other platforms out there for podcasting. Real Paint Talks of PSC. You can check that out. I still haven't got my sprayer out of the box. I'm so nervous. What did you get, Dragonfly? Did you get a diaphragm pump as well? I guess it doesn't really matter from who, make, or model, but don't be nervous. Bro, it's well appreciated when you come to Vegas Beers. When I come to Vegas Beers on you, bro, Vegas, dangerous. I would actually really love to check out Vegas sometime. I love poker. I love playing Texas Hold'em poker, so Vegas would be cool. It'd be cool, but yeah, man, anytime. I was gifted a Wagner. Airless diaphragm or piston. But Dragonfly, don't be scared. Baby steps. And as we were saying, me and Dennis, there are a ton of different platforms out there that can help you, right? I wish I could come and get you to train me airless. Listen, to anyone that's still in here right now, what do we got? 8, 9 people in here. If you guys ever want to learn, and this is why I never did this in the beginning when I first started my Instagram, because I don't want people to think oh, he's just trying to sell us. He's trying to sell us. I'm like, well, no, I'm trying to build trust in the community so people can trust that they can come to me. I'm not going to sell them anything, but I have been doing, yes, there you go. Dazzling Dave's giving away HVLP Fuji. Get on that. Go check him out at Dazzling Dave 77. He's giving that. It's a good giveaway, guys. I'm going to win it, though. I know I'm going to win it because I don't have one. But Dragonfly, like I was saying, if you ever want to do one-on-one mentoring, I do offer that behind closed doors. I haven't put it out there in terms of people being like, oh, well, now you're selling out. And it's like, no. It's more just, if you ever need help, message me. I can give you one-on-one stuff like, Painter Man 2000. I think you guys are both in the UK. I help him all the time. Like, I'll do critique videos if he sends me a video, or if he needs help, then I'll send him videos. And Instagram's great for that because it's instant, right? And yes, Durate, I'm still on. Just chatting with the folks that were still in here after Dennis went out. So yeah, anytime, Dragonfly. And like I said, it really is not simple, but simple for me to help you online. Spraying is not always simple, but I'm working on some videos right now because I've been getting a lot of requests for certain videos, especially for the ED655. Some help on that. So I'm going to be putting some of those ones out. I'll be putting some red glaze videos out. I appreciate your help, brother, for all the help you've given. Absolutely, Marco. And you know what? So this is what it's about for me. It's about helping the guys that really want to grow and really want to take their business to the next level, or even just their painting game. And that's why I don't want to completely sell stuff to people, because everyone's like, well, you shouldn't have to pay to learn. Like, you should be charging people to learn. And it's like, well, I don't really understand that theory, because if you went to one of the top schools in the world to learn, you'd have to fucking pay to get into it. So when I hear people say that at the same time, I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah, you don't want people sell, oh, you should, this is knowledge we all need. Yes, it is. But I've paid for it in mistakes, or I've paid for it in paying for classes of my own, or somehow or like Dragonfly says, my time, so yeah. And Dragonfly, if you ever need specific stuff on any of those machines, talk to Dave, because Dave will run you through, like, I know my machines pretty well, but I call some of the shit on there like thingamajiggers and stuff like that, right? So Dave will know, he's the tech guy. He'll know. I got Dave almost on fucking speed dial. Haven't had to use him yet, but he is the doctor. Yeah. And yeah, there you go, Dave. I mean, doctors don't learn for free. So, I wanted to start doing something maybe and putting out a class, but I need to take a nap. But it's a lot of work, and I got to be sure that it's something I want to do. Everything I learned was from the top guys in the companies that I worked at. Those guys have done it all. Yeah. And you know what? If you can find somebody that you can learn from that has a vast amount of experience, because I think a lot of times too, I don't get a lot of people reaching out to me for certain things because they see that I'm doing lacquer, right? So it's pretty specific. So I guess my point to that is, you want to be multi-dimensional. You don't want to be too one-dimensional, especially when it comes really specialized. So for me, it is a little bit one-dimensional in the sense that I don't go and test out a shitload of different products, from water bases to lacquers, because we have a certain system that we use here. We kill it, we get paid, we do great work, award-winning homes. So when I need to get there, that's when I start reaching out to the other people, because that's what you want. You want to have people around you that can fill in the voids of your knowledge, and get it from them, right? But thin on the ground in my area. I was going to book a spray course before bloody COVID. Yeah, absolutely. And I know that the UK specifically is really big on that. They have, I honestly do think that some of it is, it's a tough one, because it's never any hate, but at the same time, it's like, you got to really watch what you're looking into and reading into sometimes in the courses that you're taking, because like I was saying to Dennis, everyone's a fucking guru now. So it's like, guys, watch the content, because the content's really going to help your decision on where to go. I don't know any spares in my area, or I'd be on them like a rash. Like shingles. You know what? I don't really know. I don't know. Is Nathan from Nice Decor in your area? Because I know that they've made a huge transition in their repaint game, doing a ton of spraying now, as opposed to the the brush and roll, because a lot of those houses are, I don't want to say vintage antiques, but it's a lot of old school kind of ways of doing thing. I think I've been getting that a lot from a lot of the guys in the UK, that they're starting to do more spraying. Times are changing and stuff like that. So I don't know if Nathan's in your area. No, he's in Lang. In Land. It says shite. You're joking, aren't you? Yeah, you're pulling his leg, aren't you? You're having a piss, aren't you? Miles away from me. Oh, okay, I see. Well, like I said, if you ever need help, I can definitely help you on the one-on-one game. And this is what I've been telling all the people that I've mentored. I don't have a price. I don't do it that way, because if someone says to me, listen, man, I can't afford to do this or I can't afford to do that, then I just want them to learn. So I say, like, you pay me what you can. If you want to send me a sticker as a payment, cool. You know, if you want to send me a shout out, cool. If you want to blow smoke up my ass, cool. If you want to pay me $500 an hour, cool. But I just want people to learn and get the information that, like I said, that I had to make the mistakes to get. So, you know, anybody that needs that help, just reach out. But always keep an open mind, guys. Always keep an open mind, because we're all, oh my God, we're all evolving and ever learning from each other, right? So that's the great thing about this. You've seen my post. I'm all about promoting. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I do think there's something wrong with it when you're doing it solely to monetize. Like, I see a lot of people doing that. Like, I've seen some people online bitch and complain that they didn't get either a feature or a shout out or a product or this or that. So on one hand, they're saying, oh, well, I didn't get this, I didn't get that. Oh, it's because I didn't have the following. But I don't even care about that. I'm not down with that. That's not how I'm doing it. The next thing you know, they start learning a few social media marketing things. Next thing you know, they have 8,000 followers. Next thing you know, they're getting products sent to them. All the stuff that I refused after I hit over 10,000 followers. And they're pumping it. Now it's like I was saying to Dennis, now it's all just like, got the tools. Well, let's see the fucking tools put to work. Can we stop with the 1 day, 1 month, 3 month reviews, guys? Because how can you properly do a review if you haven't put it to work over and over and over again? And then you expect people not to hate on you, but when they look at your feed, where's the review? Where's the work? Where's the videos of the reviews? Instead, it's just you holding this shit. That's not a review. See, that's what it's all about, man. There's so many DIYs who are using products the wrong way. We need more pros. Yeah, we do need more pros, man. But here's the thing that gets sticky throughout is that a lot of guys don't want to do it for free. So here, I'll tell you a quick little story. So after I hit over 10,000 followers, which by the way, I fucking did from pure engagement. I didn't pay for it. I didn't pay for shoutouts. I mean, you can straight up pay for likes and follows. I didn't pay for that. I didn't even pay for the smaller stuff. Like I said, the features, the stuff that's like when you pay for advertising. I didn't pay for anything. All I did was just put it out there. Companies send me stuff. I always give them gratitude. Yeah, exactly. And you know, but here's the thing. So back to the story. After I got over 10,000 followers, that's when you start to get the people that are coming at you with the links. You know, hey, can I put a link on your page? Hey, I'll give you 10 or 30% whatever you sell if I put the link on your page. So I had a couple of people do that to me, and straight up what I said to them was like, I might be interested in that. Send me the product over. Let me see how it works. Let me put it to the test before I try and sell it to my following. You know how many people said no? Oh, no. One guy said, we don't send free stuff to anyone under 100,000 followers. I said, so why'd you email me? Oh, because you want me to sell your product, but yet you want me to shit on my following and sell them what could possibly be a crappy product, but you don't want to send me something free so I could possibly, you know, see if it's good or not. No, they didn't want to do that. You post lots of content. I believe in slow growth. That's standard for 10K. Yeah. So, you know, and the slow growth Dragonfly can be as fast and as slow as you kind of want it to be, even for free. You know, oh, Durate, you want 100,000 followers? I'll get it for you tomorrow. Dragonfly, you want 100,000? I'll get it for you tomorrow. I could have 300,000 followers. I could have had it at the beginning of my internet career or my Instagram career. That's what people don't realize. That's why I get offended sometimes. Like, you paid for it. I'm like, dude, if I paid for it, I wouldn't be at 16,000 followers. You know, like Beers with Painters. Mickey had exotic wall finishes on there. He plain and simple said, this is how I got my following. He hired a company for $200 a month that would run his Instagram, put him in put him in the eyes of people that might like his content. So these are companies that will full on work day in and day out, liking stuff for you, putting you in front of people that might like you, getting you part of giveaways, doing your own giveaways, and this is how you genuinely get a following, genuinely. Or you overload it with content, good, genuine content, not just shit, right? No, I'm saying about the dude saying, you don't give free. Yeah, okay, yeah. And then I straight up called him out. I was like, well, yo, bro, so you want me to, pull the wool over my followers and sell them something that could be a shitty product that they could lose money on? Why would I do that? That was like when that rumor was going around that Osama bin Laden wanted to put like anthrax or some stupid shit in Coca-Cola. I was like, why would Coca-Cola do that even for $1 billion? It's going to kill their company, right? So it was the same thing. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to sell your work tough boot when I don't even know if it's good or not. So that's why I get hard on the guys that do the reviews after having something for a day or two, because there's no way you could fucking know. It's hard to find the time to post as much as I'd like when I'm working 12 hours a day. Dragonfly, I got to tell you something right now. It can be done. It gets annoying and it's a shitload of work, but it can be done. But those are the types of things, that's when you want to start looking at the technical part of it. That's when you might want to use an app. And this is what people are saying, oh, he bought it. It's like, no, I'm using an app. So when I do all of my post work, I can put it all in this app. I don't personally do it because I'm OCD. I like to post all my stuff specifically. But you can get an app that will let you pre-do all your posts. And then they'll just post them for you on a schedule. You just fill it all out and make sure they're ready, and then they'll post it for you. So that's one way to save some time. But like you, I'm always working a ton. And because I'm working a ton, I'm on site a ton. So I get that. I just mental note, okay, I need to take 3 pictures today, or I need to at least get 1 or 2 videos today. And sometimes, Dragonfly, not posting anything is just as good, because you don't want to oversaturate your feed either with just nonsense. Like, how many fucking times are you going to post a picture? And this is when I'm going to get on people with your new workwear and your new work boots and your new work tools, but you're not showing us any work. You're just posing. So it's like, there's only so much you can put out of that. You know what I mean? Before people are like, wow, wow, wow. That's not how you sell products. Plain and simple, guys. Do you know why Titan sent me a $5,000 machine? Because they knew that people were going to see me use it, and there's always that possibility that people might go and buy it. That's why the diaphragm pump is going somewhere, because people keep asking, so I keep referring them to Titan. Sometimes I don't want to piss off customer by filming. Yeah, that's a tough one, Dragonfly. So like I was saying, it's a double-ended sword with this Instagram. I had a customer that was following me currently on their site, and they love what we're doing, but sometimes they're like, hey, it doesn't look like you're there. So they talk to the builder. It doesn't look like he's there. It looks like he's on a different job, blah, blah, blah. So there are double-edged swords, but you got to remember that that's your portfolio. So if a customer is like, listen, you need to be working more instead of filming, and you'd be like, this is part of my company now. I'm sorry. This is what you're hiring. You know what I mean? This is how you might have got trust in me by looking at my Instagram. So I need to do this for the next customer. I need you to allow me to do that. And if they say no, you say, okay, fine, I won't do it. But get all the content you can. I'm always posting, but my problem is getting followers. But Insta works as a backup for my work pics. So Durate, that's the thing. So this is what I keep telling people. There's kind of 2 different players when it comes to this. The players that want to use this for business, marketing, and promotion, and the players that want to use this for personal. And that personal can branch into a bunch of different things. For fun, for trolling, for learning, and then there's just the business, right? So if you want to gain followers, then you got to go back to the basics. And there are some basics. Instagram's changing a little bit, but the basics used to be post 2 to 3 times a day, genuine content, and then engage. This is the ultimate door knocking platform. This is like, you can instantly reach people by posting and then hashtagging. It's all about the hashtags. Yes, it is all about the hashtags, but not all. Because you got to remember, too, that Instagram starts to get sick of that. So I had one guy, he asked me the same thing. Oh, how do you get your posts going, this and that? So I explained it to him. I explained the hashtags. I explained the posting, everything. But then I noticed he was just copying, pasting his hashtag over and over and over again, the exact same thing. And it's like this freaking long. Mind you guys, you only get 30 hashtags, okay? But Instagram starts to get tired of the same ones all the time. So you got to keep it fresh. It's like a workout. You want to get, you get your muscles going. You got to give them a shock of something different. They'll start to get bored after a while, the same thing over and over and over again. So like the hashtags, keep them different, keep them very, very different. Sound check for you, Chris, or sound check for me? Yeah, I use the hashtags and I don't post stupid things. New vac. Oh, the new sander. Well, like I was saying, guys, it's going to come down to what you're posting. And I know it might be dumb, but it's like if it's a black wall, hashtag black, hashtag wall, hashtag black wall. Some people are going to be like, oh, that's ridiculous, but that's how you kind of do it. Can everyone else hear me all right? You got your headphones in and the volume turned up, Chris? I'm going to piss them off with that one. But either way, this will be going on Real Paint Talks at PSC. So you'll be able to hear it all, Chris. I promise you. You have to turn it up also. It's probably because of the way I'm running it through the podcast here. Let's try that. How about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me better? I can hear you. Ooh, it's divided. So see what happens is here. I got this board, right? Phil Blast, you're about half the volume that Dennis was. Yeah, so see, I'm still trying to work this out because what happens is my phone is connected Bluetooth to the board, and then my mic has its own channel. So you got to be watching the bars while you're doing it, because if Dennis is like, bam, and I'm like down here, then I got to work the tracks out, turn his volume up, turn my volume down, whatever it might be. But either way, I will edit this all and I will get it up on the Real Paint Talks at PSC for you guys all to hear, because I think there's a lot of people that want to hear more stuff about Instagram and how they can work their following a little bit better, because I think everyone at the end of the day does want that number. What am I hearing? But the number doesn't always matter, guys, without the content. If you're not putting out good, wholesome content and engaging with people on a genuine standpoint, like genuinely, don't just send, this is what we're hearing. This is my son's thing on his thing here. That's why. At least I think so. But I was going to say, post that genuine content, right? It's the genuine content. It's the genuine messaging. That's the stuff that's going to really help you. I started TikTok. All right. I got off of TikTok. And I'm going to tell you why, Dragonfly, because for marketing and branding wise for our industry as tradesmen, TikTok wasn't it for me. And I know this might piss off a lot of people, but I don't want to see 12-year-old girls dancing around, shaking their booties. Shit, man, I don't even want to see 50-year-old women doing that. I'm on social media to expedite either my business or to teach, and TikTok for me didn't do any of that. TikTok is the biggest pissing competition, and whatever. This guy can be mad, but if you got a guy like Splash Painting going viral on TikTok, that tells you a lot. It tells you a lot, because it's like now it's just about views. You got one of the top specialized sprayers in this game on TikTok, and all he's doing is scraping out his roller, and he's getting 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 views. And I know a lot of people would be like, yeah, but that's people that are seeing it. Yeah, fine. I don't need 100,000, chicks from California looking at me. Like, it's dumb, in my opinion. That's my opinion. And then I have kids. I have a daughter, and I just don't like where that platform's going. And, Gary Vee a long time ago said it would probably be the next Instagram. I don't know how, Gary. I don't see it, because I just don't see it. I can see how it's going to get you a lot of views. So like I said before in other podcasts, guys, if you're selling watches or something, then yeah, maybe you're going to want the 500,000 views, and you're going to want, you know, people from all over the world to see that. But when you're specializing in something and you're trying to sell like your craft or your trade or even a tool, I don't think TikTok's the place. YouTube, Instagram, little pro tip, Facebook is actually the killer. Best piece of advice, guys, if you're looking into that information, you want to learn more about that, read Gary Vaynerchuk's Crushing It, and he'll explain it in that. And then do take some other online courses if you want. There's a thing called Udemy. Dragonfly, you might like this one. Udemy, Udemy. You can learn courses for free, really, really, really cheap. It's just raising awareness. I'm trying to brand. Yeah, I honestly understand that, Dragonfly. And the awareness you're going to get out of that. But take it from me, even after 10,000 followers, getting onto TikTok, it's a mad pissing competition because it doesn't really matter. You want to try and hit your demographic. So if I was you, Dragonfly, if you want to start pushing people over to your Instagram or your YouTube, if you have one, you want to do it through Facebook. Because Facebook works in a different way than Instagram. If you want to do it on Instagram, then you just have to do what I'm telling you. If you do this, you will gain followers. Post 2 to 3 times a day, every day. And if you can't find the content, then cut it down. 3 times a week, maybe 1 or 2 photos a day. Use good hashtags and don't use hashtags that are banned. Remember, guys, look up the banned hashtags. Some hashtags you can't use. Keep it diverse. And then when it comes to gaining following and engagement, don't just drop 2 hearts on somebody's photo. You see something, oh, here's 2 hearts so you can see me. Here I am. It's like, no, that's not engagement. That's not how it works. You want the people coming back. You want the people to then again talk about you to their friends. Then you need to genuinely engage. My business is slightly different to you guys. It's more about interior design stuff. I post over from Instagram daily. Yeah, I get it, Dragonfly, but it doesn't matter because it's all marketing branding. So the different businesses, it kind of doesn't really matter because, like I said, if you wanted to sell watches, then you might have to plan it in a different way and have a different model. But it all comes down to the same. If you want people and the algorithm to start rolling, you got to be in their faces all the time. So I can see why TikTok might be a route. All my customers are coming to me via Google. See, there you go. See, that's what I'm saying. Because that's like, for where you are, I found that a lot too. When people are trying to gain a lot of work in their area, Facebook, Google, SEO stuff is really what's going to help you. Or you can kind of use one of those companies, say like a Homestar or a House, who will kind of give you all of that in one for a certain monthly price. Sometimes it's a little bit cheaper. I got most of my business from Google too. Yeah, absolutely, because it's for your demographic. My wife's home cooking dinner. I can smell it. I can smell it. I can smell the dinner. She can probably hear me outside the door too. But yeah, so and nothing wrong with what any of you guys are doing, but for me, I wanted to build my following on Instagram because I wanted to reach more people that I thought I could teach. Because I don't get work for my Instagram. I get people who go and look at my portfolio and it gives them reassurance, and sometimes I get hired, but I still have to reach out to them. Like Dave said, I still have to network to them. My phone photos report said my photos are attracting 748% more than others in my trade. Is that through your Google or is that through your Instagram? Because remember, those numbers are also based on a formula, like on I'm gonna get this wrong. I don't want to say fractions, but it's like, oh, Google. Okay, so that's good. That's good. That's a really good rating. You know what I mean? 748% more than others in my trade. Well, there you go. Google and Nextdoor for me. So I was on House for a while, and so with this Nextdoor, I don't know if it's the same as House, but I was on House and I found that I would only get the leads and the feeds once my monthly payment went through. And then a lot of them were tire kickers. It was stuff that I was like, what is this? Like, No, I don't want to go paint one wall an hour away. You know what I mean? But I found that, like I said, it was putting you into an SEO already. You know, there we're going to get some light from my screens here. And I just opened up Google, and there was a picture of Britney Spears. She doesn't look like she's doing too well. But I got Houzz and Nextdoor. I'm really happy with it. Yeah, Houzz was tricky for me. It seemed like such a scam, just in the sense of, like I said, I'd get lots of tire kickers, and just shit like that. But what sold me on it was the SEO. I didn't want to pay for SEO strictly through Google because it can be very expensive. Nextdoor is more like word of mouth. Okay. Yeah, this one was more for builders, designers, contractors. So you can get anything on Houzz almost. You can get an interior designer. You can buy your chandeliers. You can get your trades. So that's kind of how it was. But these guys sold me on it because they thought, we can help, get you more clients. But what I was trying to tell them was, Houzz is good for my design. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? If for me, it would have been different. Later, Dave. For me, it would have been different because. So what? The reason I didn't like it, Dragonfly, myself, was because it was super. What I do is super specialized. So every time those guys try and get a hold of me, like Homestars and this and that, they say like, we can get you more work. I start talking to them about the lacquer spraying. I'm like, so like, really? What do you know about this and that? And they're like, kind of like, I'm like, so you can get me builders, contractors, these type of people, because those are the people I'm going after. It's the same people that call me and they like, we can do all your estimates for you. Let us do it. And I'm like, how in the hell can you do that for me? You don't even understand what I'm going through. Nextdoor becomes word of mouth once you get a few customers. I've never heard of Nextdoor. I wonder if that's, I've never heard of that here. Maybe I'm just not paying attention. It can also work against you if you do terrible work. Well, it's kind of like a Yelp then. So what I didn't like about Houzz is you had to go against so many other people, right? Is that like Nextdoor? Do you have to kind of go after, not go after, you're competing. So it's like Houzz would message me and then the other person would get a message too. And then it's like kind of who's the fastest to message back. And then it's like, then I was like, fuck that. I didn't really want to do that. I never got work on Nextdoor. I barely got any work off Houzz either. It was more the SEO thing. So even now, if you type up top painters in Calgary, I'll probably pop up there somewhere, but I wasn't too worried about being at the top. Because like I said, the work that I was trying to get was too specialized and none of these guys could ever pull through ever. So I stopped doing it. I just was like, nah, this isn't worth it. By the end of the year was almost fucking $4,000. And I was like, I got 2 jobs out of it that weren't even half. So, but they all think they know. They all think because they see online and I can help this person, but it doesn't work that way. At least not in my line of work. People couldn't estimate for me. And one thing I should tell you guys about that is you should be careful with those companies because those companies just go around, they get all those people to give their pricings out. Then those are the motherfuckers that are going to undercut you. Houzz calls me daily for about 5 years. You know what, Chris? If you don't need it, I don't know if I would do it. And there's different platforms and packages, but that's what I found funny. The guy said, so let me guess. If I'm the $800 a month, I'm going to get so many jobs. But if I'm the $300 a month, I'm going to get so amount of jobs, right? He's like, well, no, not really. It all depends. If they like you and they see you on there, they'll probably want to go for you. Right. So that didn't exactly work, right? And then it was like, oh, okay, I haven't got anything this whole month. Payment came out. Boom, ding, ding, ding. I started getting these leads. Like, what the fuck? This seems scandalous. This is a little weird. And then I just started examining it and watching it, and I was like, nah, man, this is something fishy going on here. There's loads of different ones. Uber are now doing one for trades. Uber this. Yeah, those paid leads suck bad. I tell them no daily. Yeah, who Homestars, they're the ones that have been reaching out to me lately. And I finally just, after the lesson with Houzz, hi, honey. After the lesson with Houzz, multi-level marketing, man, it's bullshit. Yeah, and I told him that. I said, what's up, Matt? It's MLM at its finest. But a lot of this shit is, a lot of it is. It's frustrating how often they call me. I don't pay for anything now. I just get reviews on Google, and it's working well. That's good. That's good. I'm scared of the review thing because my brother-in-law works in the restaurant industry, and man, those reviews, they can fucking crush you, But then on the other end too, it's like people like, it's hard because I'm that guy that's kind of like, well, I could get like 15 people in my family to go write a review, So the review thing's hard for me because I don't feel like it's 100% genuine. Even though it is, like you could go and look, oh, this is an actual person. But I'm saying some companies use it the wrong way. And the next thing you fucking know, it's like, there's a company here that does that. Their whole thing was best painters in the city. We're the best. We're this, we're that. They market it that way. You look through all their shit. You look 5-star ratings, this and that. And you go look through it all. And it's like 3-4 sentences of reviews. And you're like, what the fuck? Is this your auntie? Yeah, this is probably your auntie. Like, come on. But that's what oh yeah, restaurants a whole different. Oh dude, I feel bad for people in the restaurant game because Yelp, you could have like a hair in your fucking salad and it's like, you could light that place up and it's like they'll close the doors. I had a couple customers leave nice reviews on Yelp and Yelp deleted them because I wouldn't pay them for advertising. Of course they wouldn't. You got so many things that can affect your reputation. Absolutely. I only had a single 4-star review and it was my landlady who I painted her house. I was gutted. Yeah. See, but that's what I mean. And it's like, oh, what did I do wrong? Well, you left one little drip of paint and I had to scrape it off. It came off so easy. I was shocked, but yeah, you still fucked up. And it's like, give me a fucking break. Are you kidding me? Yelp hides your reviews if you don't pay for advertising. I post pics of work next to the review and sometimes a pic. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you want to cover your ass in that way for sure. And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just talking about some of the companies that are over marketed and you see it's like, yeah, it looks like you paid for all this. Because like exactly like Durate saying that's what you have to do to be on the top. So that's why I don't like those companies because it's like, hey, you paid to be up here. Hey, you're at the top of the list on Google, not because you're the top in what you do, but because you paid for it. No disrespect to anybody, but sometimes it's just the way it is. Cancel culture. If you don't like it, get rid of it, right? Well, I mean, like you talking about like the platforms. I'm just more, that's why I like to stick in the new home game, builders, contractors, stuff like that. Because even though sometimes, you make it in all these best home magazines and you see your work, they never give you the credit. It always goes to the builder. But, what's the saying? Like, it takes a village to raise something like that. So it's like, I don't care. It's all about the end result. I don't need it to be like top line painted this. It's like, I make it into the magazine. It's good enough to see something I worked on. HP, you on about boyfriends. But so... I stay away from that stuff. I stay away from the review stuff. I stay away from Yelp. And even if someone says, hey, I want to give you a review, I say, yeah, no, I'm good. Thank you. Just because it's too dangerous. It's too scary. You never know what they're going to do. They could hang you out to dry, even if you've done a good job. What did she say? She said, there's always room for improvement. Of course she would say that. Was her name Betty? Of course, there's always room for improvement, Betty. Hey, if you can't do it and you're hiring it out, sometimes you just keep your mouth shut. But that's just me, you know what I mean? Because, if I hire a plumber and I've done my homework and I've looked, gone everything, I feel trust in this guy. Once he comes, until he does something for me not to trust him, I'm putting trust in that trade. I've looked into them, so nothing irks me more than shit like that. Then I'm like, what the hell? Like, what do you mean you hired me? Yeah, I don't piss them off. They can always go back and change that 5-star review. Well, that's what I'm saying, right? It's hi, honey. Soon come. But I stay away from the reviews. Like I said, my brother-in-law's in the restaurant business. It's terrible. So I can only imagine what it could do to some painting companies sometimes and other companies. I agree. Got nothing nice to say. Nothing nice to say. Don't say anything at all. And it's the truth. Do good work and work will find you without having to pay. I used Home Advisor my first year in business and got a bunch of 5-star ratings. Then dropped them. We do not advertise now. All word of mouth. You know what? ACP Lake Stevens, I would agree with this guy 100%. One of my sayings I've been saying for the longest time is be good at what you do and they'll come looking for you. And it's true. Be professional, be clean, be good, be knowledgeable, and be professional. And sometimes you don't got to go looking for work unless you're in a place where it's extremely high competition or there's not a lot of work. Because then that's where I could see people, they want to get ahead of the game. They want to be one step ahead. Yeah, for sure, man. What I mean is if people don't like something, they go out of their way to cancel it. With work, with restaurants, with everything, someone has to be a prick. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that, man. Absolutely. There's always that someone that's got to be the Debbie fucking Downer just because. PPG color designers. What is this? The PPG color designers here are great sourcing. Okay, nice. 70% of my customers this year has been repeat, so I'm chuffed. Well, there you go. You know, that's what you want. I like the residual work too. I like the people that call me back about a year later and it's like, hey, you did this for me. Now I need you to do this for me. And it's kind of like, all right, sweet, perfect. Yeah, that's what I kind of like, you know, but it really depends. Here in Austin, Texas, there's a lot of competition and low ballers. It sucks. I was talking about this about a guy the other day, and that's a hard one, Steady Line, because it's tough. The reason I think it's tough is because I know that we kind of want to go against each other on that because that guy's lowballing you, but he's not really lowballing you. He's lowballing the client. And you know what he's saying along the way is, well, if they go for it, they go for it. Good for me. So it's a tough one because Durate's right. There's lowballers everywhere, and they're not going to go away. I remember one time somebody saying, we all need to raise our prices. If we all raise our prices, it'll fix the problem. It's like, no, it won't. It'll make it worse because then you're going to have a guy who's not worth what he's worth making the same as you. So how is that fucking fair? That devalues that, you know? So what you want to do is you just want to find a way to be one step ahead of your competition. Either you're more professional, either you're offering different services, you're offering different deals. Because we started losing a lot of work like that. We started losing a ton of work because we were too expensive. We came from the new home construction game. We were doing mansions. And then when the economy took a turn and we had to go out and look for different work, we're finding like, man, we're way too expensive. And we're losing a lot of jobs because we were too much. We weren't getting underbid, we were overbidding. And then we started realizing, okay, we'll drop our price. And then you start like seeing like, well, fuck, that guy's still getting the job and he still hacked it. So finally I just started saying, listen, we'll do it for that price. We won't hack it. We'll blow that guy out of the water. And then slowly over time, you'll start to raise your price. And then you'll start to be able to work when you want to work for who you want to work for. And then you can start to say no. And that's when the no comes. Like Durate said, man, know your worth and stick with it. Sometimes you got to get deals. Sometimes you got to do that in the beginning just to get out there. But eventually people will start to see that, you know, yeah, he did it for this price. That guy was going to do it for the same, but this guy did a way better job. Fine, I will pay you more. Yes, they will. They will pay you more. Guys, you need to read this other book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Trust me, you'll love it. They'll do it. If they see that they can find value in you, they'll do it. They'll pay you more. Yes, know your worth, 100%. Pretty sure there's a podcast on that too. Go check it, Durate. You the man. See, great minds think alike. I had a year low ballers and just have to outperform them, and you have to sell better. Yep, exactly. Just do better work and inform the customers of that. Exactly. I charge more than anyone in my area. And Nakung work back the year because I offer more. I always get that from customers. You're charging almost twice the other guy. I'll tell them why, and even offer a sample if I can. Yeah, exactly. And that's the good thing about Instagram. That's sold me on a lot of jobs. A lot of the builders that I was reaching out to before, now when I reach out to them again, it's a different story. Mind you, it's a little what's the word? Oh, it's like they see the number and they think like, ooh. So that's why I always try and make my content fire, because I don't want them just look at the number and then they hire me and they're like, what the fuck? It's like, no, the number definitely supports the content, right? So, but that, I mean, it's, oh my God, what's the word? They're just, it's kind of shallow. They see the number and they think that's it. But, but it has helped me get more work from people, because they come back and they see like, oh wow, like I can, I can trust this. Most of them, they suck at what they do, and we get the call back. Exactly. You get what you pay for. No low bidding. Got to be happy throughout the job. If you lowball and you're in a hurry right off the bat, you're not going to do the best. Fine line there. Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to, but this is what I want to say about that. It comes down to the consumer though, guys. Because like I said, even though you say the guy, man, you lowballed. Well, if the fucking customer takes the price and he does a shittier job from you and he gets paid and the client didn't complain, then what's your excuse? Exactly. So it's like, yeah, he lowballed you. He did a shittier job. He got paid and the client didn't complain. So what the fuck are you complaining about? Right? So it's tough, because it comes down to the consumer. You got to be able to sell them and be like, hey, listen, this guy's charging you that because of this. I charge this because of this. You can see it all right here. So that's where that marketing and branding comes into play, like Dragonfly was saying, right? She prayed and found me, feel blessed and nearly cried. Sometimes the little things, like cleaning a window, absolutely. Dragonfly, the last painter, ended up stealing from the customer. He hired me and got the same response. Boom. That's dope. Thanks, guys. Faces are so funny. Oh, my face. Yeah, thanks. I like educating the customer when it comes to it. Yep. Well, now you guys are passionate. You do great work, by the way. Big fans breaking. Hey, ACP, Lake Stevens. Thanks, bro. I appreciate that, man. But like I said, guys, it comes down to that content too. I didn't get to over that following just from posting. It's got to be good. It's got to be wholesome. It's got to be engaging. Getting a knock at the door. Yes. Hello? Okay, it's gone now. It's probably dinner time. And I've been pumping on 2 hours and 46 minutes. So maybe we'll have to make this podcast a two-parter. But like I said, I'll post this up. Fan here, paint fam. I'm a fan of you all as well. Anyone that takes the time to follow me, engage with me, become my friend, like my photos, reach out to me. Even some people reach out to me, not even for paint advice, just to say hello or to say thank you. That's the best. And I really appreciate that. So I got much love for all of you guys. You got to be born with it. Some things can't be taught. Hey, Danny, I asked you before. No answer. What roller sleeves? See, this is what I mean. Sorry, Home Slice. So if we're doing new home construction, I like to use the Purdy Colossus 18-inch, but mostly the 9-inch, but I myself have been using the 18-inch. The guys don't really like the 18-inch. If we're doing repaints or touch-ups where minimal paint splatter, we'll use like a traditional or Purdy microfiber. So sorry about that, man. Like I said, I got a ton of stuff in my inbox, so I really, really appreciate that you asked again, man. Appreciate that. What's up, bro? Louisville Gas. ACP, like, nah, it's about putting in work and liking what you do. Hey, man. You know what? Durate's, he's right. I love fucking painting. I love stuff. No Wooster? Not for rollers. I'll use a Wooster brush, but I won't use a roller. Chris, much love, brother. I appreciate that. No, I'll use a Wooster silver tip, but no Wooster rollers. I like Purdy. And I don't really give a shit when anybody says I like Purdy. I even like the Purdy brushes. Yeah, I've been hearing that too, but I'm going through the board. Some people are saying it's really clear. Some people are saying that it's not. So I don't really know, man. I'm gonna have to listen to this all back and do the editing and all that. But like I said, I got almost 3 hours of content here now, guys. Boom. So it'll be dope. And now I have some podcast materials. Monarch brushes for me. I keep hearing that. But I don't know. I've never tried one, but I don't know. I like them stiff. Purdy for trim is beast. Do you like hard projects, bro? I love hard projects. You know, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I get this project next year. Crazy, crazy job. Incredible house, full pool house, everything. Yeah, man, I've been on for 3 hours. I was on with Dennis Rodriguez before from Midway 1090. I'm going to get this wrong. 10902. So, yeah, I've been on for a bit. But like I said, I got some material now for the podcast. I need to try those. What are we talking about? The Coronas. I've tried Coronas before. They make really good dust brushes, I found. But yeah, guys, so I appreciate all the love. And like I was just saying to oh no, where'd he go? Luis Villegas. I do like the challenging projects, man. I love the big houses. I love the custom home stuff. I love the fine finish stuff. I love the award-winning stuff. I like the big stuff. I like running through the systems and mansions because that's the ticket. You can be the best sprayer, you can be the best painter, you can have the best company, but knowing systems on how to paint, say 10, 12, 30, 40,000 square foot, wherever you are, that's where the experience comes in because that's where the experience lies in all that. So, but I'm going to be working on some stuff like that, guys. I got some stuff in the works, hopefully for this new year. As soon as I finish all the jobs that I'm doing right now, I tried painting a bloody mandala. That shit was a test. Hey, actually, check it out. So, I didn't draw it, but my kids are really down into like into drawing and stuff. So I got a tracing light pad for my daughter, and let me get a follow though, bro. You the big dog. Yo, I'm gonna come follow you, man. You know this. Whoop whoop. Yeah, so that was cool for tracing because the mandala was crazy with all the little intricate pieces and stuff in here. Super fun though. I actually really enjoyed tracing that. You know, maybe I'll stop and be a tattoo artist. I don't really know. Art is life, man. I think that's why I love painting so much, especially being a musician. I just love it. I love everything about it. I love stepping back and seeing that wow factor and being like, damn. Not even being like, damn, I did that. More just like, damn, like taking somebody's vision and bringing it to life. There's nothing more fulfilling. But I gotta go. But much love, y'all. I got love for all of you. Like I said, I got about 3 hours of content now. I'm going to put this up, Real Paint Talks at PSC. If you don't know, now you know. Check me out on YouTube. Subscribe. You know, come down there. I'm going to be putting a lot longer videos on there. I don't want to be putting the same shit from my Instagram on my YouTube, so I've been trying to do a lot longer videos. Got some big stuff coming out, big videos. Much love. If you guys ever need anything, big ups to my homeboy. And big brother, Paul Alexander in the house right now, 403. Much love. Good night, everyone. Thanks for staying around and tuning in. And like I said, stay tuned and check this podcast out when I release it, y'all. So much love. You guys have a good night. Coming, baby cakes. Coming. Dinner time. Later, y'all. Much love.